Greetings, guys. Appreciating you guys joining us here at this moment today, February 8th, 2020. I appreciate that you coming in. I know it's late in here in the United States, but some people are still up, and we had to come up today. So unfortunately, I was late. I had some other engagement going on, so I could not be able to make it in the early time. So I said, let me take this opportunity, or we take this opportunity to come up and speak on some particular topic or a specific topic that will concern us as Equatorians. As we all know, we Greater Equatorians are proud to be Equatorians and nothing else greater than being an Equatorian. So I'm thankful to God that I'm, son of Equatoria, and proud of also that I share this message with my brothers and sisters who are listening. First of all, I wanted to welcome CJ and Hadassah again into the forum, and hopefully other brothers of ours who always come in, or sisters of ours who come in to continue to discuss the topic that we had. And of course, the topic is going to be general. Some topic will be general, but we're going to start with what do you think, or what we think. General. This is a question direct to everyone. What do you think is the JING Council short term and long term objectives according to uh, what are they doing based on the latest press release that was they have released it to the public and to the world, and then also plus their latest or recent um, I'll say interview, if it's possible, in Facebook with uh, Brother Jankur. I think that's the one that they did recently, and the JING Council of Elders came there. So this is just a topic we're going to talk about, and then we can generalize other topics beside that, like the land grabbing that is continuing in Equatoria, in particular, as we speak today. I've heard about this thing last week. It was, I think, Wednesday or Thursday that the incident happened in some places in between what do you call it, Mangala, where people are getting, their land. These people are building houses illegally. They're trying to settle there, and as you know, that the people from Bor still in there, is still settling in Mangala, and that's also by itself is change. It create danger in itself to the community of Mangala and to the community of Equatoria in general. And then also there's other topics going on with the conflict, the conflict zone within the Equatorial region, and we're gonna go continue speak more about that later. And then also I wanted to say first, let me give a greetings to you guys, because as I come here, I never even started my greetings to you. So I would say this: greetings to all of you, my beloved Greater Equatorians from Equatorial Civilization Council, and I'll say greeting to you, my beloved Equatorians, and also greetings to our friends and enemies. Because remember, we have enemies who don't like what Equatorians who are now speaking about Equatorial separation. So I'll say greeting to them at all. It doesn't matter if they're foes or friends. We say greetings to you all, and greetings, special greetings to my beloved Greater Equatorians from Equatorial Civilization Council in Diaspora, Majlis Revitalized Peace Agreement. And to all my fellow Equatorian revolutionary brothers and sisters, I salute you in the name of justice, accountability, and equal right. I salute you in the name of Equatorian nationalism. I salute you in the name of Equatorian unity, the unity for our people's struggle. And I salute you in the name of hope, future for our people, and the love for one another, and the bond we share through with one another through our ancestral blood of for new Equatoria. Again, my fellow brothers and sisters, and also our friends and foes, I want to say thank you for joining us in this moment, taking your time and effort to come and watch us and listen, even if you're not around later. If you listen to us, also I say thank you for listening. But we're gonna start here, excuse me, and bring CJ for a second. So CJ, as you know, the title that we spoke, what do you think is the JING Council, short term? Or I can even put it better in what I have said or written earlier. Just bear with me, which is what are the true objectives behind the JING Council of Elders' recent statements and interviews, and their statement toward the regime and the Revitalized Peace Agreement, and what are their short terms and long terms objectives. Of course, that's one of them, and then going up to the point of talking about other specific or other particular issues that we have facing as Equatorians within the country called South Sudan, which is now is a failed state. It's a disastrous state. There's no hope for it. And go ahead, CJ. You can speak in Arabic or English. Doesn't matter. But I think for those who don't speak English, please tell us that you have a difficulty understanding English, so we can kind of mix it up with Arabic if there's any possibility. Or if not, we're just going to continue in English. And I know there's some other people who are listening who speak particular English. In particular, they speak English perfectly, so they have no problem. الناس اللي ما بيسمعونا بالعربي بالإنجليزي كان عندهم أي ضوء في مشكلة ما قاعدين يفهموا كلمات بالإنجليزي، خليهم يقول لنا إحنا بنقدر نحاول نتكلم نلخبطها بالعربي والإنجليزي عشان نفهم الباقيين. فاتفضل CJ, and then welcome Hadassah, and welcome to the viewers المشاهدين. So go ahead CJ, the forum or the platform is yours to speak. Go ahead, اتفضل. You have to unmute yourself. Hello, unmute yourself please, CJ. I don't know, do you hear me guys? Because CJ, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can hear you, but
Okay. Yes.
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Yes. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Erika, and all the audience, the viewers, and our fellow countrymen or women all over the world, our sisters wherever they are, who are facing difficulties in the meantime. I understand this is the life that we have been put into. It is really difficult, something that we wouldn't have imagined. Our dream have been shattered, of course, as South Sudanese and the farmer Sudan. And today supposedly to be, we're supposed to be in Equatoria, Greater Equatoria. The states, it's unfortunate. As you have seen, things didn't work out our way, but the devil way. Something that we really regret about it. Yet, it is indeed a very serious point that we should discuss about it, the issues of the JING Council, their latest press release, and as well as the statement, the interview, the Facebook interview where I have seen the guy, he got upset, start threatening the gentleman, John Kerr, that, John Kerr, to, pull out. It's unfortunate, the guy was able to control him and things went smoothly. So can you hear me, guys? Hello?
Yeah, we hear
yes,
you. Go ahead.
please.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead. We hear you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Looking to the situations, to all that, to the upcoming days, to the questions that you've just thrown out, that is, what do you think is the JING Council short and long-term objectives? It is indeed very serious. From my point of view, from my perspective, what I can come out with is actually those people seems to be playing a game time and time again. So this is not something new. One of the things is that, now based on the questions that were being thrown to the guy, if I could recall about, he says, that's of course in Arabic, they put it down there. It says here, اتفاقية السلام, about اتفاقية السلام المنشطة, which is Revitalization Peace deals, that, there was some kind of recommendations on that particular points, مقررات, تعرف كيف? So the national dialogues says, what do you think is that, do we need to, that's what he says, نريد ذلك أن يضع سويا تطبيقها. That means they wanted to implement it. Well, the guy seems to be doubting on that particular points and to implement that peace deals. Both sides, both warring parties. He didn't put it, of course, the way it is. It looks, he says there is conflict between those two guys and that they don't want to go back to the war again. All right, that's what they're saying. And at the same time, the guy seems to be pulling out that, we're not part of that. We just came as elders to come up, and do our jobs. All right. Now, if you look to all these things as elders, if there's any kind of formations, if you are to form yourselves as elders of the community, then you should draw the attention to bring all the people on board and then start selecting some kind of people. Each has to come and appoint some other groups. So the group should go for what's so-called national unity. It's unfortunate. This thing didn't happen that way. It is the same JING Council who has been playing these roles ever since 2005. The way how they even set up all these constitutions, their own constitutions and all that. So this is the kind of games that, when you look at it forward, this is exactly the objective of those people. They can sometimes pull out a distance themselves when things become hard. When it becomes cool, then they will go again and play the games. So this is what they are playing. So their short-term objectives, of course, is to bring all people on boats, after planning it in a proper way, so that they go. As the guy have said, he has been everywhere in the country, in the villages, talking to the people, and people are now more aware than before, which is great. Yet, when he come to conclusions, the worst part is that, he went and presented the documents to what? To Kir and Mashar, of whom they say they have come, all the people decisions, almost people have come to a conclusion that, Kir and Mashar should go. All right. Now, with all these, national dialogues that you have said, of course, though for me, I'm totally different with them. I differ with them because that is not exactly national dialogues. What goes on is just only some kind of, going on, surveying all the people, see what is their opinions on that, and then bring it up. So, because national dialogue shouldn't be the way how it is. That is not national dialogue. Talking to the people of Equatoria separately and then go to Upper Nile, to Bahr al-Ghazal, talking to them separately, that is not the way. There should be delegations. People have to come up, each groups of the three regions have to get their own people, so they can bring them up to the tables. So give their perspective and everything. That way, when you get a documentations, when you come to conclusions, you shouldn't say, "Oh, come on, let us take it to Kir." Imagine taking it to the elephants, to the elephants or lions. How comes that you have to take your documents and give it to a wrong guy, somebody whom everyone's suspicious about, and a man who's really in the role. Supposedly he was supposed to be, investigated. So giving it to the same guy who's playing bad roles, it shows you what visions, what objectives, the objective of those people. That everything what they want is only to get information so that they can plan and see how can we play the how can we do that and that. That's what they are. That's very much their short term. As far as long term, of course, is pushing for what's so-called unity. He says, all people are united. Nonsense. That is not unity. You're killing people. You're throwing people. It's still to this day, even the refugees, they have no consideration to the refugees. Coming to this deal, to these revitalizations, peace deals that took place in Khartoum, that is revitalization peace of Kir and Mashar, with the guarantors, which are Uganda, Kampala, and all those neighboring countries, mainly Uganda and Kampala. Those are the ones who plays that game. Yeah. So they have a dirty games playing it. The main point is, if we look to the long terms, is that those people wanted to put themselves with their move to Equatoria, occupying their lands and going to Mangala. Imagine Mangala. We were given three months, period. Now, where is this governor? Whether he's a governor or he's a mayor, or whatever, where is he? At the meantime, 3 times is over. 3 months is over. So that's why, what I wanted to alert Equatorian in particular and South Sudan in general is that, when you have a deal, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a deal, be careful. Once somebody has to say, okay, I'll be moving here tomorrow, you need to have a contract. There should be a contract. It is some documentations. Now, if you go to people of Mangala and to this governor themselves, do you have any documentation that says 3 months? Once 3 months is come, once it's out, then you're supposed to be very serious about it. writing to them that, the time is over. Those people should go back to their respective area because there's no more any longer applauds. That's based on that. It's unfortunate. Do we have any documents in the meantime for the people where people could have a copy of that so that we could pressure such kind of regimes, to get out of the land? Now, as you have just indicated that, they began to build houses. Imagine doing all that kind of things. What will be the means to get those people out of there? One way or the other, as we have said, separations is the means, or else we have to use force, a deadly force, any kind of force that, to get them out of the land, which will be very, very difficult. Now this government, those of Kir and Masha, they are using the government of the people as a means. They are abusing their right. If they were to be sworn based on their claim that, they have been elected, that is nonsense. Of course, times have shown that, they are not elected. Mm-hmm. They are not other than a coup d'etat, elements that have come and
hijackers, as we call them.
Yeah, they hijack the people, exactly.
They hijack the government from the people.
Yeah, under that conditions, those are clear. Now, as far as Equatoria, what do they, their plan is, of course, to occupy any big land over there so that, they wanted to show them. Like this guy, Dr. Aju, imagine what he said. Yeah. Imagine what the guy
I don't buy that doctor.
Yeah, when he came to a point that, well, how about, there was a question, actually, I couldn't pick it up, but, he says, based on that question, he says, we have been to Dinka, we have went to our people, in Upper Nile and Bahar Ghazal, we have talked to them, and when it comes to Equatoria, he says, well, we just neglect that, they just neglect it, and says, okay, probably thumping, pointing that, of course, in the long run, sooner or later, if we're not serious, they are going to claim that, they are also Dinka Tajuba or Jalin Tajuba, like the other guy who was lobbying for us, long time ago. That doctor, who have gone chest out, who have been taken and pushed out from Alua, got fired from Juba University. Remember that?
Yeah, I know. I forgot his name. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He's now, he's in DC, of course, lecturing or playing the games of, monopoly and all that, lobby and all that, lobby on behalf of all those people. Mm-hmm. This shows you how serious are those people. They don't talk. If you listen, if Dinka were to come to you and say that I'm talking the truth, never don't believe him. Mm-hmm. Because he's a flip-flop, he's somebody who can change his lifestyle any time, in any point of time, you understand? So those are, the simplest that I can, the little that I can be able to say.
Okay.
And let me go and leave the floor to the others. Let's see our sister Didi, that also give her perspective, and I will carry on from there. Thank you.
Okay. Before, Didi, don't mind if I speak for a second?
Yes, please.
All right. Because the condition of these JING elders, or whatever they call them, these JING Shuyukh al-Mutharrifin ta Dinka del, it's really, they are just ridiculous in all manner. I mean, هم طلعوا اليوم أيام ده كله أو السنة ده في ضغوطات، لأنه في ضغوطات جاي. There's a lot of pressure coming to them based on the accusation, or the pressure based on the accusation that, I mean, it's actually a fact. This is not just a claim of somebody accusing you, her say, his say, or their say, or them say. It's just the facts of so many wrong they have done, and they were collaborating on that idea of building a Jing nation, a Dinka kingdom. That's according to what they were always believed in from the time they went into the bush to the time they got to be in power by a fluke. Because I would say it's a fluke. Because why? And it's our mistake as a people of Equatoria especially, and we have to take the blame, that we kind of like ignored the fact that the Dinka or the JING Council, who are now representing the Dinka community, and now some of them are beginning to distance themselves, like, no, Dinka is not elected, we didn't choose them. Most of the elders in their community are not chosen, they are appointed, and I can even tell you, like, these guys who call themselves, there is no democracy within this tribe that they can say, oh, we chose these guys. Most of the time, they are playing this trick of saying that, they're democratic. Now they wanted to isolate themselves because JING Council have played a tricky game that now when Equatorians start speaking out for their rights, for their land, for their people, and also calling even extremely to be a nation by themselves, separate from Haja Ismu or from something called South Sudan, then the JING Council began to panic because it never happened in history. All these years, Equatorians were always following. Yes, Equatorians once in the past built, a power where they were in the part of, what do you call it? Like they were that powerful people who had that ability to speak out in behalf of the whole South Sudanese, like Joseph Lago. I pray that he recovered from his sickness, and other people like Joseph Oduhu, the late Joseph Oduhu, and those other great heroes like Agri Yadeng and all these guys. Those guys were great leaders who really built an impact within Equatoria and built a foundation within Equatoria and built also a great legacy to Equatorians and to all South Sudanese, because they're the first people who stood against any foreign entity to come and take land and abuse other people. But most of the people in Upper Nile at that time, especially the Dinkas, some of the majority of them were allying themselves with the North for the sake of power and position. And then these same people later played a trick to come in after the SPLM, and they began to encourage that Dinka, we are a nation, we can be a power, we have to be this and this. And this mythology that they built in the community, now today you could see the action of what's going on. But the promise, that dream or that myth that they were trying to build in their community have failed when they saw the leaders that the leaders that came in to make sure that they achieved the objective could not even achieve one single objective. Maybe I would say they did, because I will retract that. They did, because what they did, they even kind of facilitate a lot of a pathway for the tribe to go and get education. Like if you look at majority of the Dinka kids are now sent outside compared to the other non-Dinkas. And these things is actually shows you the inequality within the society and within the country. And yet they keep denying it, like, no, it's everybody's equal and that. And if you look at them, they are so aggressive to be in power to the point that they have to gain anything to get to know. They have to hold power, they have to hold military, they have to hold education system, whatever they want to do. Even the idea of taking lands from other people and claim it to be their land, they already have been achieving. They've been doing it. So JING Council was behind that, and JING Council was elevating this thing into action by making sure the SPLM follow up that dream that the SPLM already in the past had, that belief, which is called Dinka Kingdom. Yes, John Garang played a trick on being a nationalist, playing the new Sudan and all that stuff. But in reality, in his hidden agenda, as last time, and all of us we know, but some of us, they try to cover their eyes and say it's not true. But we all know that this hidden agenda was plainly focused on making sure they could get all the objective. And if you look at it back then, when Garang even died, who's the next person got appointed? There's another people who are better than Salva Kiir to be the leader of SPLM. Why they put him as a leader, and then suddenly after that, when they put him as a leader, they put him as a vice president? If it wasn't behind it some hidden shadows who are strong enough to make sure they they influence the SPLM itself. That's why SPLM today is divided. I could say there is SPLM in the north and there's SPLM in the south. The SPLM in the north, they still hold the ideology of the New Sudan. The SPLM in the south, they hold the ideology of Dinkanism. And above it is the JING Council, who is facilitating that power. And now the JING Council begin to see Equatorians speaking out and denouncing SPLM in all from its core, and then going up to the point that even putting them blast the JING Council, because the JING Council acted like they were saints. They acted like they were just some people, who are just like, they're just there to be like advisors, like elders of the church. No, they were not. They even worse than the what do you call it? Those if there is, remember in the ancient time, there used to be bad religious people, but they're not even close to that. They're not religious. They are actually working for empowering the Jing people, the community, to make sure that they spread around. That's why you see the chaos all around. And if you look at every place, if you find the fingerprints, you will find only Dinka fingerprints in every country, every territory in South Sudan, and specifically in Equatoria. The conflict that right now is going to in Equatoria is because of them. And now they want to say, and if you look at the JING Council, they're playing disinformation and misinformation to the people so people can believe that, they have no hand on it. And also they're trying to kind of like play a stunt, a political stunt, to say that we are there to say to you guys that we are not part of this mess. We're just advising, but we don't even have any power to do that. You guys are the one who's writing history of South Sudan. You're the one who also even up, and guess what? JING Council does not only lay in South Sudan. JING Council even, they went to diplomatic areas where they begin to write histories of South Sudan. There is some guys, and I will find that guy name. He's here in DC. And this guy, he's one of these people who are, rewriting the history of South Sudan in a Dinka stories, not in the reality of what South Sudanese culture is. So they wanted to make themselves as the most powerful people within the country, that they are so strong and powerful. But in reality, they were not. If they were that strong, they would have defeated the Arab remnants in Khartoum. But they failed to do that. And they still failed to continue fighting the Arab remnants in Abyei. They let their own brothers over there getting abused. And yet they want to talk they're the most powerful people. So the point is, these guys, with all their propaganda, all their games and tricks, they're going to throw it on us, Equatorians and the people of Equatoria. And I'm talking not the sellouts who live outside. I'm talking about the real Equatorians who are suffering, and the real Equatorians who live in the foreign countries who feel the pain of their brothers back home. Those are the Equatorians who decided that Equatoria can never be, and has no longer any desire to be, in the one South Sudan that is called South Sudan today. So the people are looking forward to the idea of separation without any hindrance or limitation to the idea that Equatorian must decide for themselves to be a nation. Those who try to oppose, they can oppose as they want. But when the people get the chance democratically, trust me, Equatoria will make their voice. No one can stop them. They can mock us, calling us we the Facebook separatists. They can laugh at us. They can do all the insults. We take it. But guess what? The truth is going to be in the ground at the end. And what we're working behind the scene, we're looking forward for that day, because I will tell them, woe to those who laugh today, because they shall weep at the end. Even the Bible said that. And I'm not a religious person, but I'm just telling you the fact. Woe to those who laugh at the sorrows of others, because the time when it comes, their laughter will turn into tears and sorrow and agony for their insults, their mockery, for the people who are suffering in the ground there, those women and children who have been abused, those unknown persons who have been killed, murdered, displaced. Those are the people we worry about. We don't care about your political correctness. We don't care if you are right or wrong. But when it talks about the land of Equatoria, the people of Equatoria, that's a red zone there. I don't care if you're a leader in Equatoria, but if you don't benefit Equatorian people, you don't stop the suffering of the Equatorian people, then you are an enemy. You're not different from the Dinka people who are killing our people. Because today, why we call Dinka killing our people? Because you go back there and see who are the militia who've been brought to Equatoria, killing and displacing, even renaming towns, cities in the name of Dinka, mountain into Dinka Madi, into Dinka this, and they are the one. So those who say we hate Dinka, we don't hate them. We just tell them the fact. You guys become a Palestinian to us. Dinka today are the Palestinian of coming to Equatoria. And Equatoria became today Jerusalem that is now fought for and trying, like we have to fight for it and protect it. This is our land, the land of our ancestors. And we're not here just to chit chat and to make, somebody feel good or somebody feel bad. We're telling the fact that we're going to stand up and we're going to continue fighting, by media, by, papers, pen and paper, by our ideas, by weapons, by whatever we can. because fight does not rely only in one thing. Like some people say, boots in the ground. It does not, because boots in the ground, how many boots in there right now who are massacring, killing our people? How many boots over there are not doing anything, just fighting back and getting repelled back, fighting back? Like we have been, boots in the ground have been in South Sudan for so many years. Even the day that the SPLA declared war against Khartoum, boots in the ground was there. What did we do? We lost millions of lives. What we want is the end of this conflict in Equatoria completely and return of non-Equatorian back to their home territory. I'm sorry I'm taking long, Hadassah, Didi. I'll give you a chance and
No, no,
welcome,
it's okay. You can talk. It's okay. It's
welcome,
all right.
Melo. But I wanted to make sure that our people understand one thing, that we are not focusing and we're not provoking that we continue being in a violent territory. We want the violence to end, to cease the violence. And violence that is causing the displacement and the agony of our people is not going anywhere. It's not giving us any hope. We have children we need to look after that will be the future of Equatoria tomorrow. We have women who are mothers, who are sisters, grandmothers, wives, and all that. And some of them are widows now. We want to see their welfare that's been taken care of. We don't want to see our people being displaced to the point that we're just gonna continue war. How many years these boots in the ground have been there? What did they do? I'm not saying we don't have to fight, but they have to take an initiative and execute the plan accordingly, not letting more chaos, more displacement. They need to take territories and go to the capital. That's what I tell them. If you want that, take the capital. Don't waste your time. The same tactic of Getting. Getting tactic was a failure. That's why millions of lives were lost. What did he do? He just made the war within South Sudan. And that's why he was not a good leader. He was not a good military tacticianist. And I don't know how many officers with him, and I know people will not be happy with this, but let us be factual here. A real military people, they will try to make sure they will limit the casualty by making sure that they will execute a plan that will bring a real decisive winning. You win the battle. You don't prolong the war. You win a battle, and when you win a battle, you make it as a decisive victory so you can go ahead to the next step. But when you just put those young men and those young women fighting around, you're just losing more life. You put the morale of the soldiers in jeopardy where they will lose morale. So these things, you know, it's very important for us to understand that war is not a game. War is not a way to answer to a mistake that is happening in South Sudan. What we need is a decisive winning, a battle that will be won by a decisive objective, so we can save the people who are in there, because who are suffering behind this battlefield or this war is the people who are now in the refugee camps, who are those who are always been vulnerable to be attacked by this tribal militia from the SPLM and from the IO, coming into our territory, raping, killing, and displacing our women and children and men. Those are the people who are vulnerable, the civilians of Equatoria. And this is why we are focused on that we need to make sure the war ends in Equatoria. So if these people up there in Upper Nile want to continue fighting, that's their own territory. They need to figure out how to live. But for us, Equatorian, we don't want a conflict to create a displacement to our people where we don't have anything left for us. This is the tactic of JING Council, who are planning from the start to make sure they move that war. And they were surprised, you know, by Equatorians when they joined IO and SPLM at that time. Those who joined IO made a critical mistake. I will say this with all respect to them. They have made a big mistake, because the mistake was when they joined IO, they did not recognize that this is a conflict of two tribes. You know, two tribes who killed each other for the sake of power. While Equatorians were not even given that percentage of equal percentage like them. There was only Dinka and Nuer who are competing for power. Then the Dinka felt the threat, and that's the JING Council who behind it. But JING Council announced themselves after they saw themselves victoriously defeating the Nuer by killing innocent civilians. Look at the cowardness of the JING Council. Instead of attacking soldiers, they go and wage a battlefield like what they did in Murle. They kill innocent civilians within Juba. They're supposed to protect these civilians if they really have a heart But they didn't even condemn. And this is the funny thing too. So I can give Hadassah a point here to continue. These guys never spoke about Kir must go or condemn Kir from the past. But suddenly, when Equatoria now crying out for Equatorial right, and they need to talk about their right without any fear or any sugarcoating, then the JING Council began to talk and they try to explain because we already condemned them. Then they say we are not. We just came up in 2014. Really, you guys were there before even 2013, but you did not announce yourselves. You guys started the idea of we want to build a Dinka kingdom. We want to build a nation of our own, to dominate the others, territories by taking our women, as a bargain for them to control us, to take our land by creating a law that is really unlogical, illogical in all manner, that they say, we have this country belong to us. Nobody owned the country. What? The government owned the country? No, 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 no. We are, before even we became a nation, we are known as a tribal nation. But I mean that every tribe know their territory, and this is what gave us that power as a kingdoms in the past. Even the European, when they came in, they respected our cultures. They did not intervene. Instead, they evolved it into a point that they brought all these elders, al Salatin Bitana, and then they tell them to form a government, a system of government that will unify them into making a decision based on, rights and equality and accountability on all matters. So nobody will be complaining of saying that I've been, treated unjustly. And that was the system of, because every nation, every world, the whole world were building nations, while Africa still used to be in tribal kind of region. But Equatoria at that time had that understanding of that we are all one people, because the intermarriages within our communities were very strong, to the point that it even reflected in our way of governing each other. And that's what helped a lot Equatorian to evolve so fast compared to the Upper Nile people, to the point to understanding that the method of governing. What happened today under this regime of SPLM, there is no understanding even the method of government. Who is guiding this regime today is the JING Council. Even if they deny until Jesus come, they still are the criminals who are now waging war on our people. And we are condemning them, and we're going to make sure all of them will be prosecuted. They can run around, even they can act like they have the immunity at this moment, but they are not going to be forgiven by us, the people, because they're the one who are behind these tactics, and their files is with a lot of people. Even the Westerners have their files, and we also have some of their files that have been brought out, and some of them have not yet been brought out, talking about the JING Council plan, even the way how they meet each other in Juba. They sit down. Right now, as we speak, they don't like the people who talk about separation. That's why they came up with this statement. Because when we start speaking about separation, they came out automatically. All these years, they never spoke out about JING Council. Like, they never even worried to come out and expose themselves and tell themselves who they are. Because even there was some accusation coming out saying that JING Council plan, that I don't know how many, I don't know how many laws, whatever they call that law. I mean, this thing was there. But they never bothered to come out and expose themselves to the public that they are not part of this chaos. This is what happened. So we understood them. JING Council are coming out here now to play a public public relation control. That means they're trying to play that trick that we are not part of this chaos. We're just trying to advise, but we lost this. Equatorians today, Equatorians today are standing up for their right. These Dinkas can play and laugh and make all the mockery because this is their way. I mean, look at them. And the funny thing, instead of them laughing, they look up to their territory. The territory that is built in chaos, anarchy, tribalism, primitivity. What is this? What kind of people like that will lead a nation? If they can't even lead themselves, they can't even govern themselves as human beings, how could you expect them to govern us? We, the people who don't even believe in violence. We know what violence is. Violence is disorder. Violence is chaos. Violence is pain and sorrow and destruction to the communities. We don't live like them. We're not animals. Even animals have certain laws. They only fight to eat. They don't fight just for the sake of fight, like what's going on in Upper Nile. And these guys have no even respect to themselves. And yet they have the audacity to come and laugh at Equatorians who talk about their right. And this is why I say those guys are so mentally backward that even if you have seen the Bible and the Quran cannot even help them. So who gonna help them? If Jesus even came up to them, they will not even get any understanding, because these guys don't even understand the meaning of humanity, let alone the idea of a nation. Today we are a nation, they cannot even respect other people, other tribes, and yet they love to kill, rape, loot, do whatever they want to do, and yet they call themselves, we are all suffering. This is the game now they're playing. We're also, what are you suffering for? You're the one who causing that suffering for yourself. And if they say, like, there's one thing they say, if a stupid person, with all due respect, a stupid person never studied for his exam and then went to school and want to do the exam and he failed, let him not blame the teacher for not teaching him enough. He need to blame himself for his stupidity, not preparing for himself for school, for that test, because that's exactly what they're doing. They don't even prepare themselves to live life of a human being, but yet they want to say we are all suffering. It is your mistakes, it is your ignorance, it is your lifestyle. You are the one to blame yourself. But Equatorian misery is because of you. And we as Equatorians standing up for our brothers and sisters who are suffering because of you. So you can laugh, you can mock, you can do whatever thing you want to do, even dance around and make a joke. But at the end, the truth will always prevail. Justice will always come to its final action. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure it's going to happen. So I will not continue much. I will give Hadassah to speak, and then also I want to welcome Sister Diketimelo. Welcome, and welcome to the new viewers who just came in. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Hadassah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to pass my greetings to you all and to all our audience here who are watching and participating with us. So as we are talking about the JING Council, especially the one of the elders, Aldo Ajo, it's like the man is like, you can see he's really like a mockery, and he's just very aggressive. He's actually not in here like to tell us like actually to give proper answers in regarding to why they decided to elect themselves as Gen Council, what do you call it, Gen Council of Elders, and beginning to run the country as they like, and lead us into tribal wars and chaos, the killing and all whatnot that had happened. But actually he's here to defend his position himself, and to he was there, I mean, to defend his himself and the Gen Council, and also mix things around, trying to blame Salva Kiir at one point, try to blame Riek Machar at one time, saying that he doesn't want to, to agree to the terms of the peace agreement to sign and stuff like that. But he said that they should not be blamed. If you listen careful to him, like if Equatorians could listen careful to his answers that he's answering, this man is really like actually provoking people, like, and even actually insulting people, Equatorians. It's like he says things like, why are you blaming us? Because he was asked that if they are not actually, he said that he's not part of a Gen Council, but the group that he's in, is the name is called Gen Council of Elders. And he goes on and say that uh, they actually he started to mumble around and say that they actually came later on in 2013, and after 2013, and actually the agendas is like, first I think they are not for their community, but then later on he sounded like they are there because the country is going into chaos. And then as part of they are part of the of South Sudan, it's their rights as nationalists to defend the country. But how can, if we look at it clearly, how can one tribe just elect themselves to decide that they are the only people in the nation that can actually decide the matters of the country, how the country can be governed and how the country can go, out of all these 63 plus, or I mean 64 plus tribes in South Sudan? How could they just only decide that they should just volunteer themselves? They said that he said that they volunteered themselves. And then he gave a reference back to the SPLA. He said that actually the war of the SPLA has been fought as it's been fought by volunteers actually. Nobody has been recruited. He said that, which is a lie. Some people have been recruited, and then he said that the war's been fought by volunteers. So why can they not volunteer themselves if they see the country is going into chaos? But actually, the chaos was caused by who? By them even. The same JING Council of Elders, and they said that they did not put Salva Kiir in. Salva Kiir was born or something. Some of the things he's saying, I don't even hear it clearly, some of the words, but I thought he said that Salva Kiir was born out of the war or something like that. I don't know. But these people, their agendas are clear, like what you've been saying and what CJ has been saying. These people has rooted themselves into the country, into the system, you know. They have rooted themselves so deeply. And what has happened with them now is like they know that people are blaming them. They've been hearing even like our voices were talking, like what you said. But then again, also they have their struggle there because Riek Machar is in their in their shoulders there. Again, he wants to come out and want to tell us that, you know, we should support the implementation of the peace agreement unless we want to go to war, unless we want to create another war. But who actually always creates war? Is this he's telling us that if we don't support the implementation of the peace agreement, is that telling us that they're gonna go war against us? Or this language is among themselves there? I don't understand that. But this is where we come in, that, you know, I feel like in all these things that these people are talking about, the JING Council of Elders coming out to defend themselves and mixing things around, shuffling things around. They're just doing these things just for the people that are their ears are itching. You know, those people that they sell out, the Uncle Toms. You know, those people who are looking for position. They actually know that these people are lying, but because they lost hope, you know, this kind of people lost hope because they say that people say that, like the word that people say that an empty barrel makes a lot of noise. Because when you hit the empty barrel, it makes louder noise than the barrel that is having, you know, full of oil or water. It just doesn't make a lot of noise. But actually, one tribe only making loud noises to people because they have rooted themselves in the government. They are holding everything, the defense forces and everything. They are the one holding it. So they begin to make loud noises over people, over the entire South Sudan. So everybody is crippled and afraid. Every man in South Sudan is crippled and afraid, thinking that, you know, they are the majority, you know, allowing them to act like as if they are the first-class citizens when they are not. They are the least of the people. They are the least of the bucket in South Sudan. They are people of no value, actually. There's nothing they can add, there's nothing they can bring, and there's nothing they can do to that country even to go forward. They will never implement any peace that they're talking about. And Aldo Ajo was saying that the reason why that they have volunteered themselves because they have brains. Well, I would say this: if
Very
Equatoria
funny.
could see this, yeah, it's like, look, they say that they have brains. You know, if you could see people who are with brains, their brains are functioning, they will stay put in their place. As soon as after the you know, the what do you call it, the referendum, what you will do, a person with a brain, you will collect yourself as an elder, as an example, the failures that you have done over the years, since the days, the decades of the of even
Independent.
colonization or something. You
Oh
have
yeah.
not even,
Yeah.
you're not able even to lead your people, to educate yourself, even to benefit from the even the side, the advantage or the disadvantage of colonization. You wouldn't even, they have not even picked anything out of this catastrophe that we've gone through, colonization, let alone during the days of the North Sudan. You know, this you know, when we were under them, they should have just like corrected their failures that they are trying to blame on us Equatorians. You know, they could have corrected their failures by going back to their places. This time, for sure, go and develop your places and go and live there and watch your people come after you and learn, and let them also start developing and start running businesses. You make use of the cattle that you have. Start cultivating also in your places. Create an industry in your places, please. Use the cow leather, everything, to the hair of the cow, to the nails of the cow, to the teeth of the cows, to the horns. You can get something out of it. You can make biscuit, you can make milk, you can make shoes, you can make belts, you can make a lot out of these things. You could have even been the one dominating the what they call the economy of South Sudan. You don't have to be there being idiots. Just rush yourself like a bunch of cockroaches or flies in the, if you're Asaka, sitting there in Equatoria or in Juba, like homeless people, while you're in your nation, while you're in your country. What a shame, really. Leaders like Aldo Ajo never learned anything since the days before the days of Kokora. They're the failures, the biggest failures of the young people.
Exactly.
These are
They
the
are.
people that they are best to be dead by now.
Sorry
Hopeless
to
and
interrupt you.
useless characters. Yeah, they're meant to be dead by now.
I just want to say something, add to your point. They say there is no way a blind can lead a blind. This is exactly what those
Exactly.
guys
Thank
are.
you. Thank you.
They're blind leaders, and they're leading a blind society, a society that love
Both
violence
will fall into
and
ditch. Yeah,
backwardness.
both of them will fall into ditch. Yeah, yeah. You know, when a blind person try to lead a group of blind people, they will all go to the ditch, and that's why you see all the dinkas are going to the ditch. And Riek Machar is doing the same with the Nuer, and all of them are falling to the ditch. What happened to them? Slaughtered in 2013, I think. Yeah, yeah, all slaughtered door to door. Why would you even be there like that and just follow Riek Machar and be slaughtered when you can have your own say? This man is sacrificing his people, and right now, Gali, he's weird. He sits there when he doesn't get his share or he doesn't get anything that he wants. He started like making some maneuvers, some weird maneuvers that will cause his people's life to be, to be sacrificed. And he's about to do that again. He's about to sacrifice his people very soon. And if Nuer are not watching, they will finish, Dinka will finish them to the last bit of Nuer if Nuer doesn't open their eyes. If they're still playing gullible and unthinkable people, let them just live their life to this useless Riek Machar. Like people like Nas Abel earlier say, these people should have been dead. For me, they would have been dead, cremated, and done with them. Put them to the rubbish of Denka, the Denka Behnak. These people are not contributing anything to Dinka, other than creating. Like if you have a brain, he said that for them they have brains. You know, they don't have guns. And who are those people holding guns in Juba? These are Denka. Who are those people in Equatoria running around with guns? Who are those people in Bahar al Ghazal and in Al Nil or some other places running around with guns? These are Denka coming with their kettles and stuff like that. Where are their brains? The money that they're putting in guns, the money that they're putting in a lot in this rubbish that they're doing, they should have gone back to their homes. Just get yourself some tractors. Life is as simple as it gets, just like that. Get yourself some tractors. Go cultivate, become a farmer so that you can keep your cows at home. Your cows will be actually healthy. You know, we're coming to you actually in a very simple terms with simple messages, so that you تقدر تسيب راس الناس باخد راحة شوية, you know. Get
May I
yourself some
ask you
tractors with those
something?
money. Yeah, yeah. So go
You
ahead.
got me. You got me into this thing. I wanted to ask you,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
what would you say to those guys who, the sellouts, and those who are enjoying our suffering, those who are committing the suffering and enjoying our suffering as Equatorians? What would you tell them in the matter
Oh
when it
wow.
comes to like what you've just mentioned here? And I forgot what it just give me a second. About these guys said that we are all suffering together, you
Mm.
know, in this country. And yeah, and actually, no, yes, this is the thing I want to ask you. They said, oh, those separatists are only trying to separate because of cattle's. Imagine, and they're emotional. What would you tell them? Those, especially the
Mm.
sellers, the Ecuadorian sellers, those who are
Oh,
sellers, who are
oh.
Ecuadorian, but they're
You know.
sellers. They don't even
Yeah.
have dignity in themselves. They will throw themselves to the wolf and dance for the wolf until they be eaten last. What would you tell them? Because these guys are jokes completely, and it's sad because those are supposed to be
Yeah.
strong men, but unfortunately they are weakest
Mm.
men I've ever seen in my life. What would you tell them? Because I seen they dance into the wolf mouth and telling us that we are just emotional, we are one people, and we need to stay together regardless. This is only the leader's mistake. Do you believe in that nonsense? And if you don't believe it, what
No.
what would you say a message to them, please? And can you mute yourself, CJ, please? Because there's echo, but you can come up and you want to say something. Go ahead.
So sorry, say what do I say to them?
No, yeah. What would you say for these people who are calling us, like, we are the one who are calling for Equatorial independence or separation,
Mm,
that they
mm,
are just separating because of cows, and it's like they said it's unheard of, and it's like they're even mocking it. If you look at them, the way how they're laughing
yeah,
at us and say we are just in social media doing this noise. What would you
mm,
tell them? Because we know the facts. Well, we it's not about cattle, but I want you to elaborate to
my God.
these. I just give them a message,
Yeah,
even if a simple message that let them, those who have ears, let them hear. Those who don't have ears, let them fall with their own foolishness and ignorance. At the end, they will know who is in the right. We go ahead.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, these people really they baffled me really. Like they keep you really shocked. And these are the kind of people that they will come and then they will question you. And when you
Hmm.
answer them, and then they will get angry, they'll run away and started crying out there, saying that you insulted them.
Hmm.
While
Hmm.
actually they lost the plot while you trying to, while you answer them, they lost the plot because you're not accepting what they're saying. So they lost the plot, and then they begin to insult you. How many people we saw here insulting us, like insulting you? Actually, say balita munu munu, bringing all this, your personal
Exactly.
lives in your mom, your dad, your munu, because just you did not want to accept a Dinka to live in Equatoria, or you did not want to accept Dinka to be repping Equatorians, because you stood out. You did not want Dinka, to dominate us the way that they do. So these people did not like it for
Yeah, we don't
some
want
what not
occupation.
reason. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't understand. But I wanted to say that these people are really ridiculous. You can see a bunch of grown people, grown men actually, or grown people, grown women, start sitting there saying that, we are emotional, that's why we are separating. Well, if that's how they are seeing that we are emotional, maybe because the emotion came out of when we saw our people being shot dead.
Exactly.
Maybe the emotion came when we saw our people, our women and our daughters, our sons and our fathers. Their what do you call it, Musran? Their intestines is being ripped into pieces. Their intestines are running down on the ground, and they're lying there dead. Our grandmothers has been raped. Our lands has been taken. You know, and
Exactly.
actually the most saddest things that we Salva Kiir was about even to sign. You remember he was about to sign an agreement with Saudi Arabia, or like, and then the
Yeah,
nations of
the
the Arab
Arab
world,
nations. Yeah.
that yeah, the Arab
Uh,
nations that
Emirates.
actually,
Emirates.
yeah, that
Amarat.
yeah, that they wanted actually some workers from South Sudan to come and help them.
Wow.
Imagine the slavery that Equatorians are going to be victim to, because how Equatorians, how Equatorians are hardworking. Anything that
Yes.
they will hear that will bring money, they will go there, because
Exactly.
actually they're the one actually working in South Sudan the most for these people for free. This is actually another level of slavery. They're working for free, never get paid, and actually you get harassed, you get raped, you get all these things. But imagine these ladies, or these ladies and men, how they would have been trapped in Middle East, being slaves under other people.
I've
And
been there.
this actually are
I saw the women. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah,
They've been
yeah.
abused
And
very
this
sadly.
actually what these people that are saying that that we're emotional, and that they're standing for unity and stuff like that. This is what they are accepting, and this is what they're allowing. They're allowing day in and day out, night in, a night out, that our people to be oppressed, to be killed, to be raped, our children's, our daughters to be picked from school. Ma واحد دنكاوي تاني باتنا تو كبير شكل تو ما أعرف كيف, you know and then to go pick up Janataki in school, go up the Fiden, and then go and
Mm,
rep Janataki, creating a destruction actually, you know,
disturbing.
cleansing us Equatorians out, leaving our daughters, our little daughters with babies in their hands, a baby raising a baby, you know, and then actually Ogi move on, come on, he's moving ahead. And these people actually saying that, some of them are saying that the reason why they don't want to separate from Mother separate from the not I mean from South Sudan, is because the reason is simple for them, because we had actually separated from Sudan.
Which is
They said
that?
that we
Which is mocking.
separated from Sudan, that's why they
Yeah.
don't want to separate again.
It's
And
a
I'm
weak.
thinking
It's a
like,
weak.
what?
Yeah. It's a weak
Yeah,
argument.
I'm thinking this is really weak. It's really weak. They said that they don't want to separate because they already have separated. So I don't know, that has caused them trauma, I think, or something. the trauma of separation. But the trauma of your own people have been pushed out of your land. It's not a problem. The problem that our people are suffering is not a problem. And especially this, some of them are saying that those people in our people in Equatoria has not suffered any more than the people in what do you call it, in
Upper Nile.
Nile, or Upper Nile, yeah, Upper Nile.
Mm.
Or actually the Shuluk people has been pushed out, even they don't even have a land anymore. That's not true. Some we have how many villages, or how many villages in Equatoria that we saw people are not there left. We can't even begin to count it. Our people even are mounting more than 2 point something million. This is going to 3 point something million that we don't know. Every day people are leaving, and we just stuck with the figures
The
of you know
estimation
of
of Equatorians
yeah,
out of their
yeah,
land
but
is
it's more
almost
than that.
more than 4 million who was outside
Mm,
the land, and even the census that has been accounted that this is the whole South Sudan is owned like what 10 million people, 11 is incorrect. There's a lot of
mm-hmm,
people even did not participate in the census
mm-hmm,
because they didn't even believe that this is the way how this country is supposed to be led. That's why they
mm,
even rejected the idea of separation from Khartoum, and then they even rejected the idea that they will be governed by the SPLM because they know what SPLM did to them, to their families. There's some Equatorians who know themselves very well that their family were killed by the SPLM, not killed by the Arabs, the Arab remnant. They were killed by SPLM. The murders and the rape that was committed not by the Arab remnants, it was by the SPLM. The same people who are
yeah,
now calling themselves we are born to rule and we are the tribe who are mighty and strong. Even the Tiger, when they formed the Tiger group, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Hadassah, I'll
no,
give
no,
you a
that's
check.
okay.
The Tiger group, when they were formed to kill the Nuer at that time, do you know what they used to blast? Brag about themselves? They're the mighty Tiger, the Dinka Tiger. Even there
Mm,
is someone who posted it in YouTube. The mighty tiger, the same tiger who massacred innocent civilian in Juba. And I'll say because they're innocent, because we stand with innocent civilians. We are not gonna go, accept somebody killing innocent person. But we know the Nuer militia right now under the IO is committing the same crime of SPLM Dinka militia committing to us, our people. Because when Equatorian joined IO, they sympathize with the IO, believing that the suffering of Nuer is equal to their suffering. And they even respected Nuer at that moment. But then now, IO turning their weapon against us, our people, with the SPLM, that shows us that we Equatorian must stand up for our independence, avoiding hatred, avoiding the bloodshed that will continue for a long time. We are not afraid to fight, but we want to protect and build a new future for the next generation because we're sick and disturbed by something called bloodshed. You can kill people, you can
mm,
continue killing them, but your time is going to come up. But it's better for you to build a good thing, a legacy like Mandela did. Mandela could have been a tyrant, but Mandela thought about his people and the young generation. He didn't think about his tribe. He thought about the young generation in particular. All these South Africans who are dying under the hand of these white apartheid. That
I
was
think.
a yeah. So for that reason, I see like people like that. If we had it in South Sudan, it would have changed. But Equatorians today are standing up for their rights and for their land. So we're not afraid to speak out clearly that our land and our people matters to us more than any nonsense that they're trying to bring to us. So go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
yeah. It's just sad that today you will find that like for example Equatorians that are like they just I don't know, they if you say the word they say that they cry, that they say that we say that they are sold out. But if you clearly zol agil kida zol bemuk agil kida, why would you speak against your people? Why
Exactly.
would you be an obstacle against your people? Why would you be a stumbling block against your people? Why? Instead of shielding your people and backlighting your people as a responsible person, as a responsible adult. And these people who are doing these things, they're in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s. Makes you really wonder, makes you really get like shocked. These are people that you think that as time goes, they acquire more wisdom,
They will be
more
wise.
time on
Yeah.
earth. Yeah, they will be wise. They already got the experience of life. you know.
And unfortunately,
But
not true.
no.
Mhm.
Actually, they even at 10 years old is better than these people. I'm telling you, 7 years old is better than these people. They can reason, kids of today. They reason well, and they can sympathize and actually feel the pain of, you know, of another person which is even far away, you know, far from them. But these grown people here, they see their little life that are brought out here, you know, refugee, and they're now here living well. They can sleep the little that they have. They, you know, they buried themselves into drunkenness and into the little life that they have, the community life, the munu, and they think that this is life. Yeah, they call us in heaven, you know, and they forget about the sufferings of the other people.
And
And
even
when
they
you begin
forget
to
that
talk
one day
about,
they're gonna die. You
they
know, they're
forgot
gonna
about
die.
it.
You wanna die in foreign land, or you wanna die in your homeland with dignity and honor that you
Yeah.
are a son of Equatoria.
What shocked me, what shocked me is grown adults will want to carry themselves. If we have a problem in Equatoria that people, we have multiple tribes that is really coming to our land, you know, tackling us. And we're here crying about it. We're here talking about it. Hey, Jama, we have to do something. We have to come together. We have to free ourselves. Okay? But you got these people, they have nothing to do, but they just they look at you and they copy you and they get
Yeah,
jealous and then they run around to the neighbor's house and they say that, hey, look, I want, bring us, can you bring them, and we go and talk about it over there. Yeah, Jama, what a padia, what a disgrace. And this is something that I will not even show myself over there. These people say that they're for unity, they're for stuff. You're there for unity, you're already with these people there. Why do you want to come and talk your problems at Equatoria in somebody's house? This is such a disgraceful. It's such a full disgrace, really. Like
yes,
if somebody from an outsider call us, like last time we were invited to come and to give our reasons why we want to leave. This is actually a valid point. Why are you leaving us? Why are you breaking away from us? So we come in and we explain why we're leaving. We are leaving because you guys are not good with us. You guys are not treating us. You guys have created us so much pain and suffering. So we say, hey, we don't hate. We're not gonna war on. We're not gonna wage war on you. We're not even gonna do payback. What we're just going to do is we're just gonna remove ourselves, remove our people. We just want to go and live in peace. We just want to go and mourn our people, bury our people very well, do cleansing in our land.
exactly.
We just want to go home. We want to bring our people home. That's what we went out there with the message and we said this is why we want to.
Even
But this
Moses,
bunch of
my,
disgrace.
I don't have to interrupt you. Even Moses, when
Mm,
he came to
mm,
Pharaoh, he said, "Let
mm.
my people go." He separated from Egypt. He
Yeah,
went the other side. He said, "I want to go with my people." Egypt refused. That
yeah.
Egypt refused to the point that God had to intervene. But at the end, guess
Mm,
what? Israelis now are proud to be Israelis, and they have a nation. They are proud. So separation is
and
not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing when you see somebody is not treating you well, enslaving you and abusing you. You have the right to stand up for your right and for your people. Even the Bible have agreed on the separation. Separation is even written in the Bible. If you want to go to Moses and look at the way how he talked to them. And Moses was one of the family that was raised in the Egyptian power. But at the
mm,
end, God used him and then told the people, he saw the suffering of the Israelians, say, the people are crying to him. We want to have our own place. And they went out.
yeah.
So separation is not prohibited by God. That's why we even separated from Khartoum, because the Khartoum was doing the same bad thing to us. Now we have seen the same person that in كنا معاهم في خندق واحد اليوم بقى enemy بتاعنا, bigger the
That's true.
greatest enemy, worse than the enemy اللي كنا قاعدين fight before. So why we have to submit to such someone who don't even have any dignity to be honest with himself and say, let me be honest. But we don't, it's too late, Khaled. Hajar, too late. The decision, like they say, the die have been cast. The die have
Mm,
been cast, so it's too late. So now we have to make our decision based on that, and the people have decided. They can like it or
yeah.
not, it's gonna happen. هما لازم يفكروا كيف يعيشوا بنفسهم, how to figure out how to build themselves. Society بتاعهم اللي بيحبوا violent ده كانوا قاعدين يكونوا violent هيكونوا slave. They will be small little people and unable to even be a nation with dignity, a people with dignity and respect to the world. Because already I said the world don't respect them. The world don't respect South Sudan because of Nasdel. كان نحن برانا,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
we'll
mm.
be more respected than them because we know how
Exactly.
we can live. That's how we need to
Mm.
separate.
ما
بيتفضل,
كده
sorry.
أنا ده سكيل ناس you have a problem أنت بتقوم جرى لجيرانتك قال تقرون, so you want to talk about your actual issues, your home issues. Girl, you want to bring Equatoria together, you want to, or something, you run to the neighbor and talk about it at the neighbor's house. What a disgrace, really. These people are failures. They're disgrace.
Mhm.
You know, they are such a like they're just such a losers. They're not really example, really. I
We
lost
will talk
respect for
about
these
them
people.
next time. We don't have
Yeah,
to
they're
worry
not.
about
They're
this
not. It's
nonsense.
like they
Let them
embarrass
mark
us
themselves.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
looking at this point, Equatoria. Not to take it long. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking for so long. So it's just I'm like let Equatoria see it and decide. You know, like for example,
Aldo Ajo, the
Aldo
Jing
Ajo
Council,
kept
yeah,
saying,
elder,
yeah, or his name is Deng. Let's say he kept saying that, insisting that people are that we are giving hate speech against Denka. You know,
which is not
people
true.
are having
Mm-hmm.
Denkas are the one having hate speech against us. I remember back then, 3 to 4 years back, if you get on Facebook or everywhere, you hear Denkas are just talking Berutan all the time, and you can hear your name Equatorian, 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 and then you can hear that we are majority. They must follow us. These are the words that you hear. You know, they must go back to Uganda, and you can read from their writing. They must go back to Congo.
Mm-hmm.
They're not actually they're campaigning that seriously that we're not South Sudanese, and it's true we're not South Sudanese. We are Equatorians.
Exactly. We
We're not
Equatorial,
saying we
not
are South
Congolese.
Sudanese. Yeah. Yeah, we're not saying we're South Sudanese. We're actually saying that we're Equatorians, and actually, to
Hello?
the point of the people that are
Yes,
saying
we're
that,
hearing
in
you.
conclusion, that the people that are
Hello?
saying that,
Guy, Nasma,
yes,
CJ, Khalik, hold on. Mute
Hello?
yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Ahmed?
the people who are saying that we're not that they cannot separate from South Sudan because they're the emotional people that they have trauma from the from breaking out from Khartoum. Even some of them have not even been to Khartoum, have not even seen Khartoum, but they're holding trauma. Why you like why we broke up from Khartoum now? Why we breaking up from South Sudan? I can't break up. You haven't even been to Khartoum. You haven't even been to these places, and Khartoum was not even doing anything good to you. Why are you traumatized?
Mhm.
And now South Sudan is not doing anything good to you. Why are you traumatized by breaking out? You actually had to be traumatized by the things that they have done to you bad. you know so I'm just saying that these people should hold themselves together. They should go and sit by themselves. They actually need to think clearly as responsible adults, and they should start looking into, maybe because they are too busy watching TVs, out here. When you invested so much in these TVs and in this world here, this developed world, you will actually forget the image of things which are happening behind, outside this developed world. You'll actually completely not know what's going on out there. So I believe, especially when you invested in too much music, too much secular things, movies,
Yeah, things that
Muda
does not benefit you, that's not
instead like
beneficial.
watching this, yeah,
Yeah,
this Arab movies and watching this,
for
stuff like that,
entertainment and all the waste of time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, just entertainment industry, so you will actually not know what is happening. Yes, you will hear, yes, you will, people will tell you, your relatives will call you and stuff, but you don't actually know how bad it is. You will support
True.
them, yeah, but you actually don't know how bad it is.
Mm.
It's just their cries are falling into deaf ears, and this is what I prove. I have proved it even with my own eyes and with my own ears yesterday, even from the most grown people. You know, the fathers, the grandfathers, I've proved it yesterday from them. You know, and they actually allowing these people that are filling them with lies because of a party. In the name of a party, in the name of positions. You know,
Very sad.
because
Very sad.
just a party that has been made well, decorated well, and then Kalas Galia, who this is it. Well, I think I've said enough here right now. I'll just
No
leave it
problem.
here now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Hadassah,
you.
and CJ there. And then also want to welcome the Ketamelo or Asanta. Welcome to the forum. Thank you for joining us. Just, you heard all the topic we said. And also I wanted to add there was a discussion that I have heard also about these guys in Mangala. Because remember, whatever happened in any territory in Equatoria, and I want to mention something very important before I give you the forum, the platform, Miss Diketemelo. Um, you remember the word when I was talking about the, Hakim Dario when he came up before, and we supported him in general on the idea of the Equatorial Declaration or Declaration of Equatorial Declaration of Principles. The
Yes.
purpose and the idea of it, yes, the purpose and idea of that thing is that we Equatorians need to build a cornerstone of an ideal. when we become a nation. So Hakim Dario sat with us respectfully. We discussed and debated things, and then we added some points within that Equatorial Declaration of Principles. I mean, it's already there, but we need to put it in a stone so it can be certified and being, make sure it's like something that will be remembered when we leave this world, that the generation will come and follow it. It's almost like the Ten Commandments. That's what I always said. And I remember that time there was a lot of people who did not want to go and support the idea, but I did support it wholeheartedly and humbly believed in it, because we're looking for the future. We're looking for the future of the next generation, because our time is here. But the next generation, we need to build a way, a path, a bridge for them, so when the next generation comes in, they will have an easy access to continue the mission that we might not be able to continue. Our ancestors did their best. Our grandfathers, our fathers, our forefathers did their best, and they left us with their legacy. So we don't have to forget their legacy. We don't have to forget what they did, and now we have to continue. And so there was a gap during that time of Anyanya. The gap came when SPLM entered in the arena of history and trying to mess up the history of Equatoria. Today, Equatorians, that's why we see ourselves today in a limbo, but we're not lost. We still be able to come up and fight for our right. So what I'm saying here, the Equatorial Declaration was a very important thing to me in particular. The idea of that is to remind us, Equatorians, that we are one people. Any attack comes to one area in South Equatoria, and this is exactly what we added on that charter, and that what made me even proud to say I support the idea of Equatoria Declaration. When we said any outsider attacking any tribe in Equatoria is an attack to all Equatorian. It doesn't matter if you're in Central Equatoria, Western Equatoria, or Eastern Equatoria. Any area and any tribe being attacked by a foreigner is an attack to all Equatorian. And we do not, in adding to that, on that charter, on that principle of Declaration of Equatoria principle, we also added that we must not allow any tribe to go against any other tribe, which are now today we are facing it, and I will talk about it later. The issue that now some people are trying to instigate tribal conflict within Equatoria, we reject that. And we know who's behind it. Like earlier, one of our sister, and she's closer to me in a family member, she came out last time. She spoke Arabic, and she talked perfectly in that point to say there is a hidden agenda. The hidden agenda is that these guys are using the feeble and the weak among us to incite hate between each other. That means a tribe will go against a tribe, like what happened between Mundari and Bari, what happened between Mundari and Fujulu, what happened with other tribes, Mahdi and Acholi and all that stuff. All these things happen. We know about it. But we are proud to be Equatorians, because these things is not us. Those things that is happening today, that's not what Equatoria is. Equatoria is bigger than that. Equatorians, they know how to settle their issues in a very civil way. But what is happening today, there is some people behind the scene inciting this tribalism within us. And I'm telling you, even there is some people outside the country who live in the West, and I would say in particular USA and other countries, they are also behind the incitement of that tribalism. And I will accuse them of that, because they don't even think for the betterment of all of us as Equatorian, but they think for themselves, and they just want to be leaders, and they say, I was a tribal leader, I was this and this, and this is not good. And we are watching. We're the next generation who are gonna carry this problem. And yet now some of them, they don't even like us to speak. They want to silence us, and they want to tell us, respect your leaders. I cannot give, respect is not given, it's earned. For those who don't understand, and I'm telling to these guys who condemn me every time when I say you got to respect your leaders or we will do that, go ahead, do it. But for me, respect is earned, not given. ما في زول بيحترمك عشان لانه انت داير لازم يدوك احترام. لازم الاحترام يجي بكفاءة بتاعك. Once you are you earn that respect, people will never, you will never lose the respect of the people. لكن لو انت بس ده تجبر ناس خليه respect you, that's not respect. That's called you're making them afraid. You will have to put them in fear to know who you are. And that's what they say in Machiavellians. One time he said, you know, he didn't say it exactly, but he kind of put that, you know, it's better, what he said, he's like, is it better for me to be feared or to be loved? You know? And this is a question to anyone who want to be a leader and to any leadership crisis when it comes in. And right now, any leader who's been feared, his ultimate end will be despised. People will despise him to the end, to the kingdom come. Because you know what? Go back to history. Look at today, Egypt, Hosni Mubarak. Look at Gaddafi, the way how he got killed. Look at the guy in Iraq. I forgot his name now. Anyway, those are the characters who really, you know, came with violence, came with power. Saddam, yes, thank you, Saddam Hussein. These is the characters who built fear within the people. You cannot talk. Even in Syria today, you know, Hafez al-Assad and his son today, who's ruling Syria, he's ruling it in dictatorship. So leaders must not be given, you know, power and be given respect because they are leaders. They have to earn that respect. And respect is not given, like I say. So I won't go far, but this is what I want to tell them and let them get it to their head. I will not respect a leader who will allow my people to suffer. If I see a leader will cause or will allow the suffering of people or ignore the suffering of people, then he's not a leader for me. He's just nothing but a tyrant, nothing but a puppet, nothing but an evil person who only looking for his own interest. Because a real leader, he would sacrifice his own life for his people. It doesn't matter how it's hard, even if he get killed for it, or even he get insulted for it, or even he get, you know, condemned for it. But tomorrow history will judge, because, you know, they said the truth will always come out, regardless people wanted to hide it, wanted to confiscate it, wanted to take, because truth is what God is. Even in life, truth is what makes life existence. So these guys who don't understand it, they won't understand it because tomorrow they will be in the wrong side of history. Instead, let them humble themselves and be kind and listen to the cry of our women and sisters, our brothers, and all these people back home, and then they will find the truth from there. But I'll give you the forum, Sister Diketemelo. Sorry for talking too much, but yeah. So I just wanted to kind of like get some points there for the people to understand. So go ahead. Thank you. Hello?
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for giving me this chance to speak in the forum. And it's really morning over here, and I hope everyone is doing great. Yeah. To all the Equatorians, my message is we need our unity for our survival. That's it. And let's see Equatoria land as the land that we borrowed from our children and our generations to come. So as Equatorians, let's stand together and let's fight the enemy that is invading our land and has already invaded it. Yeah, and my salute goes to Shabab Tabojur. I really appreciate the energy you guys put to put the enemy away from your land. Ule Salatin al Muarasinda, time will come, we'll expose you guys here. We'll expose you guys here in the forum. I don't want to speak about it because I know we will put a day for that. But continue, Shabab Tabojur, continue with the work you guys are doing. Do not fear any military intelligence that is put in the areas of the clans that belong to your ancestors. Fight to the last bit. And I salute the leader group. Continue. Wake up all the youth in the villages with your machetes and everything. Continue. Focus on the village so that you guys can have your ancestors' land peacefully without any interruption, security or anything. Long live Equatorian youth. Long live Equatorian youth.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Thank you. I don't know what happened to CJ. He just exited, but yeah. My point here, then, you know, you heard about the JING Council, and yeah, we're gonna talk about this. Right now, let's focus on these guys in Pejur, which is Mangala, right? Like it's all side of Mangala and all these areas.
Yeah, Bojur, Mapao, and Mangala.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard today even from people else, like they was talking about it, and I heard it last week, and I've heard also again. So it's an ongoing thing. So from last week up to this moment, these territories in Central Equatoria, Mangala, and especially now the Dinka who have been there, like
And
CJ
you
mentioned.
remember, who are those same people who are attacking them now? These are
Yeah,
the
yeah,
refugees that are
yeah.
brought last time.
I was gonna bring that exactly because CJ mentioned earlier a very important thing. He said these people have asked for 3 months to stay there and then go back, but those guys are not going there to stay 3 months. And we know this is a joke. Even like people who live in Juba, they know that if any guy, and with all due respect to Dinka, we have to be clear. This is a because Dinka are the one who causing this problem. It's not other people. It's not from Mars. It's not from Shamal Sudan. Dema bugulu ina hajat khayali. This is a fact. Galek, this is what happened even in Juba. Equatorian al addu rent biyut bitam le dinka fi nihaya dinka claimed that the house bitam. This thing happened in Juba. So if these guys they did it in Juba, do you expect they will not do it in anywhere they get a settlement when they settle out in other areas, which is happening now in Mangala? Now today they are doing the same thing. They came there for the excuse of flood. قال يا أخي مطر جاء ومطر ده كبانا برا سوينا عايزين نقعد هنا. وهم زمان كان أي فيضان بيجي هم كانوا يجروا لمكانات الشمال. Why now just suddenly they have to focus on Equatoria and Mangala اللي فوقه كان this is a مكان ده historic يعني هسه Mangala مفترض this is supposed to be a historical area of great achievement, great histories like of great people from Mangala. There's a lot of great characters who came from Mangala. I don't know them in particular names, but Mangala have been known to be the most famous people, even in language, the Arabic language. Some of these Equatorians who excel to the extreme to the point when they went to the north, they saw these guys are very intelligent. They even empowered, like they impressed the Arab remnants in Khartoum. Today we see these guys now at their eyes in Mangala, and their eyes is not just for Mangala because of the land. Their eyes is beyond that. Their eyes is make sure that they populate this area, and Equatorian, is what they call gentrification. If you heard about the gentrification, it's a system where somebody will come in and play a trick, either financial trick or either by forcing you that you will be out of the territory sooner or later, and you will lose every right in that area. And the gentrification that is happening in Equatoria is happening because some of the weakest leaders we have. And that's why I say to those who condemn me, calling me that I have to respect leaders, I will not respect a leader who did not earn it. I will respect a leader who earned that leadership by standing by example, by defending the right of our people. What are they defending? They are allowing the enemy to go in and penetrate our territories to the point that they will stay there and kick our people to to the area where we don't even belong to. So gentrification is happening right now in all of Equatoria, and yet there is some clowns who want to talk about Equatoria. All of us are South Sudanese. We need to stay together. Listen, if I see two idiots are fighting over there, do I have to join them in the fight? Let me separate myself from them. If they love to kill each other, let them do it. It's not my fault because they don't understand. They don't want to listen to reason. How many years we've been in this country? Since the time, did ever Equatorian complain about being a nation of South Sudan? They did not. They have preservation. Like عندهم كان تخوف إنه إحنا ما عاوزين نكون في مرحلة يعني هم كانوا متخوفين من حاجات ده. And they were right, but they never opened their mouths. They were quiet. They just say, okay, as long as they are their own territories, إحنا بنعيش بسلام. But unfortunately, it was not like that. Dinka, they had a plan. They want to make a gentrification happen by coming in and destroying and taking and looting and chasing away the native of the land back to the other areas where they can claim themselves to be Equatorians. Like Didi I just mentioned, years ago, Dinka were claiming to be, and as Equatorian del min Congo, min all this. They used to mock us. And up to this moment, they tried, but now we are silencing because we know what our ancestor area is. Those land does not belong to them. Some of them even begin to claim like, "إحنا متنا هناك كتير عشان كده سمينا مكان ده جبل دينكا." Imagine this audacity and stupidity they have. And when we say this, they feel like we're insulting them. But this is the fact. If you're stupid, I mean, what else can I say to you? Smart? I mean, I'll be stupid enough to say to you you're smart. So I have to tell you who you are, and you need to figure it out yourself. Yeah. So all I'm gonna say is, Equatorian must stand for themselves. The land of Equatoria now been taken. Like you said, these areas now Bujur and and
Mapao.
Mabao and Mangala, all these areas. This is just the beginning, and it's not even the beginning. It's already in the process. I would say
As
it's a
in,
process.
yeah, and sorry to interrupt you also. It's the ongoing plan being implemented, the one that is in the document of the JING Council. If you can look at it once again, if you get chance, it's one of the plan that they are implementing.
Wow. Yeah, it is really sad. It's really, really heartbreaking. And this is why our brothers and sisters of Equatoria who are living outside in a foreign land, we need to really work together. We need to unify ourselves on the idea that we Equatorian are the only hope for our people back home. And I just want to clarify something. There is some people making a claim that we have said that we are helping people out there in the ground. I mean, the civilians in the camp. We did not, if you look at us, we did not even mention that word. What we did say is we are trying to find how we can help our people. We even supported our sisters who came up with the food and medicine and clothing for the women who were chased away. You remember those last year, the women who were kicked out, all these families, not just women, men and women, were kicked out of the territory in Central Equatoria, and that was just the beginning of what was going on. And even we condemned some of the leaders of Equatoria who did not speak out for these suffering of the people of Equatoria. But the women, I want to say thank them, and I want to thank you, my sisters and those brothers who really participated in donating money to help these poor sisters and brothers who are under the ground, in the ground, who are suffering. And that was the one that we know openly as a charity that is helping these women and children, you know. So, so I wanted
Yeah,
to make, yeah,
sorry, I just want to put a point.
yeah, go ahead.
The claim of that drunkard, he was saying that we are funding some militias in the camp to go and fight the government. So his advice was, why do we have to fund militias of separatists? Now separatists has their own army in the ground, that we are funding them to attack people. So if security guys
Mm.
kidnap some refugees from different camps, we are responsible for that. This is how he was claiming.
Wow. So yeah, it's really heartbreaking, and this is what we're saying to our brothers and sisters. We have to stand together for the sake of our people. I know some people will not agree with us. It's okay. We are not worried and bothered by those who don't agree with us, but those who know what is in stake for us and what's important, they need to take action. And that's why we come up here speaking out, not for the sake of popularity, publicity, because leadership is not easy. Yes, I understand. And no one of us here in this forum try to be leader. But we saw there is a vacuum within our community. We have so much mess that nobody wanted to take responsibility. Then we have to come up. We have to come up out of pain, out of sorrow. And then those who call us emotional, they will always make that mockery. If emotion is for me to wake up my people, then let them call me emotional, because emotion never hurt anybody. Emotion actually sometimes alerts you the facts of where you are, where you stand. Then your emotion begin to move your other senses to stand up for your right. So those who mock people emotional, they themselves are worthless to me, because they don't even understand the meaning of why life is all about. Because if not emotion, you don't even exist. Because emotion moves everything, and emotion even build what is called. I don't want to go deep into that philosophy, but I want to just make them understand that those who call us emotional, they just need to rethink and to kind of like dig deep into the word emotion, because they don't understand the definition of emotion in general. But let me go to the point of that. As Equatorians, it's our responsibility to stand up for our brothers, especially us who live in the West, not those back home, because our people are suffering, our people are crying, our people are hurting. And if we can do the little we can, it will make a difference. And I want us to make sure that we need to end the war. We need to campaign for ending the conflict within Equatoria. Like last time I mentioned, and I think people forgot, but the first thing I did is that the conflict in Equatoria is the reason why our people are suffering. These Dinka and Nuer conflict have moved to Equatoria. IO and SPLM, when they settled in Juba, 2000 and I think 16 or whatever, and then they fought again, and then they chased themselves out. Who helped them? It was Equatorian who helped IO. But what happened after that? The outcome was the war was begin. The Dinka began to campaign a mass war on our people. And then later, when Nas showed up, Nas was talking about South Sudan. He wasn't talking about Equatoria. Then people kind of like say, okay, maybe he talk about South Sudan, but he's going to defend us. But up to this moment, with all the respect, Equatorian women and children are still getting kicked out of their houses. The land has been taken away. So what we are saying to our brothers who are fighting, and they are our brothers of Equatoria, defend your home first before you go outside to the next neighbor. Don't defend your neighbor's wife. Defend your wife first. Defend your children. This is a dignity. This is an honor. You're fighting for your own home. No one will fight. Like if you see your siblings, your brothers getting kicked out to the death, you're going to save your friend first or you save your brother. Common sense and natural common sense. You will defend your brother. No one will go and say, I want to defend my friend. They will look at their brother first because that's your blood. So we are your blood, Equatorians. So stand up for your people and then go ahead. Liberate the other territory. And that tactic of getting that used to say, you know, you will fight Khartoum في Juba في جنوب Sudan, it's a losing cause. Right now, this tactic of getting have not cost anything but millions of lives to die. Look at what he did. That's why South Sudan have become backward. And then when the SPLM ruled the country, even went down to the hill. You know? So we guys need to stand up for our homeland. That's all we need to. And nobody, you cannot be condemned for that. Even Israelians said it's an honor for the son to stand up for his father's dignity and his mother's honor and his brother's right. You know, you cannot just go and say, I want to fight for my friend. Because who's your friend? Because the real friend starts with your home. I'm not saying that you cannot be, but we have a bloodline in our communities and we need to protect it. And that's why I'm proud of us, you know, to stand up for our people. Proud of these sisters and brothers and all these elders who are standing up for Equatoria. They're not sugarcoating anything. They're not falling for the intimidation, the insults. They know what is right. So our message to you guys, we need to continue is standing up. Stand up for our people so we can get forward to the next objective. And I'll say we were trying to make sure that a pledge that will come up soon. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but that pledge is to do a lot to change the condition of Equatoria. And this one will be publicized to all of us and Equatorians who believe in Equatoria. Let them do their best, contribute for the sake of our people down there and for the sake of the land of Equatoria. Because if we want our right as a nation, we have to start by our own self, not depend on others outside to come and help us, but we need to show that we have the capability, and then outsiders, those who have the capability, when they see us and they feel these guys have the right, like what happened before. South Sudan got its independence not because of, we were begging European to look at us, but they saw that our people are really determined to get this independent and to be separate from North Sudan, and then it happened. And today we are unfortunately in another cycle with this tribalistic regime that we did not kind of consider them. We did not, question the motive behind their SPLM regime from the start. So these guys brought us this misery today, and we are not going to surrender our land and our right and our and the justice, and the blood of our brothers and sisters, just to for the sake of unity. Because these crimes that is being committed by these tribes, that's by itself a war against our own tribes of all of Equatoria. So the rest is to you to think with your conscience, to think for the sake of your people, and God bless you for that. And I will give everybody a chance to speak for the final word. So CJ, I don't know where you are. You can come back. You gotta log in again. So I start. Who want to start first, Hadassah or the Ketamelo? Any one of you, go ahead. Give
Can
you a
I just
chance.
say something before the final word?
Yes, Fadal, please.
Can I just say something? I just wanted to make a comment that people like, saying that, how the Dinkas are coming, like, for example, in places like, let's say, you guys mentioned, what do you call it, Mangala and the other one,
Yes,
some places.
Mangalasa. I was
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
Bujur and Mapau.
Bujuru, yeah, thank you. This, before even we go to these people, we have our
Mm,
people like, the leaders like Nas Jadala, Nas Munu, especially people last time were saying that Nas Jadala, like, and Jadala, I wish he could hear this, which is shame on him really, that they're the one bringing this Dinka in order to fight, Mundari against Bari people, and then knowing that these people are gonna stay there forever,
mm,
like what you guys say that the weakest, they're using the weakest of Equatorians, you know. And last time I could hear that a lot of our Equatorians which are out here now, they're raising points. They're saying that they're defending Dinka. The reason why Dinka are living in Equatoria, they're saying that actually we all know that these people are here because of insecurities in their places. Well, Tape, let's ask this Fahim question, Tape. If they're here because of insecurities, who is causing the insecurity over there in their places? Is it not caused by them? Did he not
And
stole
sorry
his
to
brothers?
cut you, Diana. Didi, sorry.
No.
Now they're the people who are attacking the villagers direct, and they divided for themselves as plots now, and
Imagine.
and and there's some evidence that will come out, which including Kwalmanyang, Nyandeng, and Makui, and the other Majangagot. These are the four dinkas that is after behind this.
These
mm.
people
Go ahead.
already, these people already have powers already. They have already rooted themselves in Equatoria. That we actually run out of. Actually, we are saying that we're running out of time. Imagine, but we actually they know that we ran out of time to do anything because they know that they have used the weakest of our people. They have paid them money, and they are just there crippled. They are paralyzed. Their spirits are paralyzed. Their feelings are numbed. They become stiff-necked. They don't care anymore. That's why you see some of them are drunkards all the time. They can't even be sober when they even come to accuse you, or they come even, to say that Equatorians don't have points to separate. They're not even sober because they just drunk all the time, and they know that what they are doing, the guilt is killing them. But yet, because in the name of just like putting yourself out there to be favored by these people, and in the name of being just purchased, in the name of just being looked up, look like a puppet and stuff, to be looked like a puppet to these dinkas, you know. And then you just kind of like compromise your people, you see. But if these people are here because of insecurities, so what about the insecurities that ran away from there? Should we say that Equatorians should be compromised, their safety to be compromised because a dinka is running from their places over there because of insecurity? So they get over here, so Equatorians should be displaced. So get out of your homes because we are the priorities. We are the people. You should leave your homes for us because my brother's killing me, because I've stolen my brother's cow, because I've raped my brother's wife, because I've raped my brother's grandma, or because I've stolen his needle or his mosquito net, you know, or I've done something just there over there. So now you have to pay for it. Leave your land for me. And actually, we see our brothers here and our sisters saying that this is okay. They say that it's okay for Equatorians. We know that the Dinkas are running away because of insecurities. That's why they're in Equatoria. Imagine how does this sound really? You're mocking your people, Gali. It's okay for them to be carrying their jerrycans, their clothes, or running barefoot because the Dinka is a priority. Because they're
Mm,
killing themselves, shedding their blood over there. So it's okay for you, who is living peaceful, sacrifice yourself.
mm.
How awful is this really? I just want to like say to these people that this insecurity caused by Dinka, I don't want to hear it again, Jama. Insecurity to Dinka, that should not be in Equatoria. If his
They
brother's
need to
killing
go to
him,
the other neighbor, yeah.
yeah, they need to go to their neighbors over there, to the other Dinka's territory. And even if they're having insecurity in their places, they should swallow it. They should deal with it. Sit there and eat your cake. Why did you start the problem, first of all? Just sit over there and eat your cake.
Mm,
And some people saying that why we're saying Equatoria could not. So one person is dismissing us saying that Actually, these people are lying that he haven't done his research. I mean his research, saying that Equatorians are just saying this because Equatorians are hearing Dinkas are saying that you're Congolese, you're this and this, leave the country. Well, brother, go do your research out there. We're not saying this out of the top of our heads because we don't know. We're saying this because there's an evidence that even knew the world has knew that Equatoria has been existing as a nation. We are not saying this because we've been told we are from Congo. No, because actually we are not South Sudanese, and South Sudanese are not Equatorians. That's just period, point blank.
Yeah.
You the ignorant, go do your research out there.
But and we are not
That's why
nomadic
yesterday we will
tribes.
not even debate with
Equatorian.
ignorance.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I say Equatorian also majority of us are not nomadic tribes like what's going on in Upper Nile.
Yeah.
Those guys can go back to North and claim themselves to be part of the North. But for us, we never claimed that we are part of the North Sudan. That's why
Yeah,
we
we
never
just
even acknowledged the idea of South Sudan in the start. Yes, the lands that these guys are there even is questionable. These people are not the owners of that land. But we didn't care. At least now we have our territorial fertile land that's called now the Greater Equatoria. The small land that we have is even greater than bigger than other countries in Africa. We can actually be more, able to sustain ourselves. But those nomadic tribes are just moving around left and right. Sorry, قطعك من حديثك حداثة. لكن if you look
mm,
at them دينكا في واو دينكا في
mm,
دينكا في مكانات قال بور ده ما بتاعهم but they
everywhere.
ومكانات ده كله كان مكان وحل. They were all unlivable. The place where even the European, when they came in there, they even described it and they knew who the owners of the land. But we don't
انت
even
زول
want the
واحد
European
واحد ده.
to,
Yeah.
to, to prove to us who is the owner of the land. We know who is the owner of the land, but the problem is we don't worry about them. What we want is the land that our ancestors left it for us to cultivate, to build it and protect it. We need to make sure that land be protected. Now these guys, because they saw their land is infertile, unfertile or infertile, they wanted to come in there and try to mess it up. So now they used to sing about the oil. What is the oil benefiting? Nothing, because they are not even able to govern themselves from the first. If you look at it, if you can't govern yourselves as a community, how could you even govern a whole nation? And this is exactly what's happening. And this is بناء بنفسه ده ذاته براو آية. انت شفت
Mm.
هسه قصة جنوب السودان ده براو آية من حاجة لسه ناس بيجيز ماسكين بلد ده
Mm.
وبحركة بتاعهم بتاع طيشنة لأنه ده الناس طايشين complete ignorance and they're running it. And ده ما شتيمة. This is the facts. JING Council هسه طلع من جحر بتاعه or came up from its foxhole or that hole that they came out from, because they are now worried if Dinka return back to the Upper Nile, where they gonna govern? That's the first question they had. What they have nothing they
Mm.
built there, you
Mm.
know.
The
And
same
they talk
thing like
about
the days.
Ramshell
Yeah.
is not gonna be built even if Jesus Jawala can Munia and Biadejo. They will not come. They build it because Nazel Astan they don't know how to build from the start. Mara already built for them. خليك بقى من رجال قاعد يقعد ياكل تحت راجل بيعرف يبني ديانه بس لكن he cannot build a house. This is the طبيعه بتاعهم. This is their culture. So for us
Mm.
Equatorians, we don't want to be living in a handout. We don't want to give duty of a man to a woman. We make sure that we take care of ourselves. Men must protect the women. Today they are emasculating our men to the point بقى رجال بتاعنا بقى معرسين في جنوب السودان بقى sell out people هناك اللي في جوبا هسه قاعدين هناك في ناس قاعدين sell out their brothers عشان يلقوا وظيفة وهنا بقى لما حولونا كمان لقبليين مع بعض بقى كان انت عندك شغل انت كان من قبيله ده بتجيب قبيله ده كله في شغل ده. This is exactly what's happening because these guys came up ما قال من 10 قوما 40 يوما صار مثلهم. Whoever associate himself with a characters for 40 days he'll be like them because it's only education. These people will come with a bad behavior. And that's why sometimes people in the West, they call it peer pressure and all that nonsense. But it's not peer pressure. It's just the habit because sometimes you're waking up in the same, scenery. So of course, one day your mind begin to kind of remember that and you begin to act unconsciously into that behavior. And then suddenly you become part of this group. So today the behavior of the Upper Nile is now trying to infect us. And that's why we say, let's save ourselves and get out before these things become a natural order in our community. Because Equatoria is not like that. We have a history, for God's sake. Those guys are now trying to discover their history. Asa dinka kulu history tambirja la SPLM bas. Kadi warina history ta dinka before SPLM. Hum kanu shunu. What did they do in history? Nothing.
Nothing.
Gumasha dum libisu sanat kam bidun muakhaza. That's the question I'll be saying. When did Dinka really begin to dress? Gani gulu gal nakedness the culture. Rabbana na Adam wa Hawa na manazal min janna who look at God who feared who galana naked who gam khabba halu. Fi Dinka gal the culture. So let us know mind bitazol gale kanzol gadi amal tabia abda be reflect his mindset. Udama insult, this is the fact. For them to be humble, Lokanum be humble themselves and come down and sit with the people of Likan, walk of Mount Harbita 1983, and then coming to the point of becoming a nation. Ohoma shared the government together with the people through a true election. Mush election tamal fake da gal election. Maf election hasal fi Janub Sudan. We just transitioned from a country to a new country. There was no government. Hajat de kullu, this is the facts. Yala fi talga nas these guys are now trying to call me respect the leaders, NASA sell out there. Instead of becoming real men and standing up on the fact, gali yake na kuna na jinubin, boots in the ground. Kalamat kila mahendo ya mana, kam boots in the ground, go fight. Ana Zamagulta, boots in the ground is not going to get any solution because people are fighting. But who's the suffering person who's suffering? Muatin bita Equatoria agad is suffer. All of them garin fi mukhayamat bitrudum. Ita kandar boots in the ground, you make solution to that. End the war. Fight to the point you make sure that conflict will be end. Kanadatum gurush, kanadatum silah. لو ناس ما قاعدين يفكروا بمنطق عسكريه صحيح بيعرفوا عسكريه ده how could you win وعشان كده انتوا ما قدرتوا تنتصروا اسفل ما قدر حتى يدمر شمال السودان. Today شمال السودان عنده قوه more than أسكن شمال السودان دخل جوا they will eliminate جنوب السودان. All these countries around us neighbors Canada عندهم power to take South Sudan in one day. عشان كده Equatorial we
Within
don't
3 hours, that actually 3 hours probably. They will
we don't
take
want
over.
to fall for this now.
You can't threaten them, with even.
Yeah, لأنه ده كان تقعد مع زول جاهل أنت حتكون جاهل. Why do you want to stay with somebody who's not even who don't want to even to change himself? لكنه بس بنوت في أي شيء بني وشلوت وده بنوت في سلم فوق. And then he want to say أنا born to rule. This is the mindset. And then لما تيجي تناقضهم هم بيقول يا أخوانا كلنا قاعدين نساوي. كل يوم بيجيبوا حجة وحاجتهم واضح like ورقة مكشوف. It's an open book. What else you want more than that? The people are crying down there for us to help them. The Equatorians who are there, they want to see their children go to school. Nama fita they dream about Europe. Gallo asa you ana dani wara gala namshi la America, la Canada. I'll be so happy. Khalas hayati kullu mashakil tayo bintahi. No, it's not gonna end because when you come to this Western country, you're gonna be another slave. For real, you're gonna be just a slave. You're gonna work. You're gonna pay tax for somebody else. You're gonna die like a slave because guess what? Your funeral costs money. This is what this country is all about. Western countries know hatta dead men get it for gurush. Dead men get it for gurush في الأرض ده. أنت في أرضك أنت بتموت بكرامة أهلك بيجي بيكوركوا فوقك and they respect and they بيعملوا traditional burial بتاعك. You will know you know your children ذاته بيكونوا proud وكان my children أخوانك at least they will know this is our child, this is our people. وthen هم continue the same legacy. Like in that to run, that to make fight, which is automatic any knowledge of how to win a war. Like in that time, shakla time, nasa kita gawi, guwa ma be shakla, guwa be mukh. For those leaders, are getting gulum leaders, like Equatoria, Khalimi get out of that nonsense with the BGs there, and he think better than them. Joseph Lago gidri khali naman Arab gidri yam mauta okay. Joseph Lago did not beg the Arab to join them in that agreement with Addis Ababa. It was the Arab remnant, Nas Nimeri, who is the one who bought, who talked with the king of Ethiopia at that time, Haile Selassie, to bring them. It wasn't European intervenence like Hassan Gadi Hassan Inagda intervenence the European. It wasn't. It was just African people by themselves, by the support from down there under the ground. Israel can get his support, Joseph Lago. And it was the first people even Al-Amal contact my Israeli, and it was Equatorian. It wasn't even Dinka can't call them going to go machine my Arab. They even believe in that. A lot of them even hasta can't legitim talga DNA tom kullu ya fi Shamal Sudan. And yet they want to, and then هم بيقولوا خرطوم ده بتاعهم. طب خرطوم ده بتاعك, go take it. Why are you coming to Equatoria? Why you want to take Equatorial lands? عشان كده قال لك they don't even know where they come from. فاحنا في راس Equatorian we need to stand for our right. ما نخاف من الناس اللي قاعدين يوجهونا باوهامهم ده. خليهم يقعدوا. هم ذاتهم ما كتبوا كتب بتاع تاريخ عشان يجي يتكلموا هم ناس بتاع تاريخ. Let them write a book of history, then we can understand. الناس المفترض يكتب history او ناس زي جوزيف لاغو وناس اللي عملوا impact في Equatoria, اللي عملوا impact في South Sudan وفي خرطوم كله. But these guys never even made an impact بس بقصاصة تماريسها بدون مؤاخذة. That's all they did. يلا بدنا نيجي يتحدونا هنا في كلامات فارغ. And then they want to insult us. And like we're sick of these kind of characters اللي قاعد يشجع فوضى في ينايرو واخواننا قاعدين يموتوا دمهم قاعد يستنزف في الارض. There is a blood coming sealing in the ground there because of these characters are weak then. We need real men اللي will stand up for Equatoria, مش weak men اللي يقول unity. Unity is you don't have to force yourself to be united. Unity is something there, exists. Once people understand what is unity, there is no question about unity, you know. But when you come up and try to undermine people, your own people, right, for the sake of unity, عشان خلي الناس يقولوا انت زول طيب, انت زول جبان, ده ما طيبة. This is cowardness. Because real men will stand up for their home first. Will not go and say أنا جاي save مرة جيران هيدا لأن ولا جيران ده زول صديقي. What about your wife? What about your children who are getting molested and murdered over there? What are you going to do to them? Don't you feel shame and dignity for yourself? حتى زول ده ذاته جيران بيقول زول ده عبيط ولا شنو? He will call him. Is he silly, mentally defective?
Yes.
Unity cannot come up just because you want to force yourself to somebody when somebody don't like you. They already showed us they don't like us. هم ذاته بنفسهم قاعد يقولوا لنا الناس على النيل ده احنا اخوان. Then why can you take pride on your own home and say, I'm a brother of my own people. I'm my brother's keeper. I'm my sister's keeper and stand for Equatoria. Hal this sin for you to stand for Equatoria? Even Bible, when Moses came in and separated from Egypt, said, let my people go. Kalambita, let my people go. They can't clear. Separation, it's something even in the Bible. Separate yourself from evil. Separate yourself from wicked people. عشان ما تكون part of them. ما تكون زيهم. Today now they wanted to entice us, they wanted to influence us with their wickedness within Equatoria. So my brothers and sisters, you have to understand, طبعا we talk, but please understand this is from our heart, we talk to you. ده ما حاجة عشان نجي نغني هنا أشطر من الناس وهنا أحسن. We are talking this because we are feeling the pain of our brothers. I know I can do much, but I can do what I can be able to do. Like أنا قاعد نعمل مجهود أنا بقدر عليه. لكن إن شاء الله وبقوة عيسى المسيح وقوة ربنا الحي إله إسرائيل إله الأمجاد إحنا بنؤمن إنه هو بيقدر يجيب solution to us, but we need to work. ما معناته خلاص ناخد يدينا نرفع يدينا ونقعد نصلي ونركع كل يوم. لازم كمان ده تكون action. But us, we are the saviors of our people. ما زول تاني بيجي يقول لنا قال ويونيتي ما بيسيف us. يونيتي بالعكس بيخلي أراضينا يشيلوا, بيخلي نساوينا يشيلوهم زي كأنه يعني شوف حركات الأيسس عملوا في دول في العراق وسوريا ده. imagine لو ما أكراد وقفوا ضد الناس ده كان أكراد انتهوا. أكراد stood against Arab for centuries. They fought and they kept their language, they kept their culture. But one thing they did miss, they lost their land because Huma, they made a deal with the devil. Namanuma عملوا deal مع أتراك. And that's why they begin to be spread around. We don't want to be Kurdish. We don't want to be Palestinians. This is our land. خلينا ما نعمل deal مع زولا اللي جاي خلينا نجي نضيع. Understand? At least I respect Akrat for their courage. They have the bravery, including the women. They fought for their land, for their people especially. So let's do that. That's all I give my message to you guys. Unas are getting yamulu mockery about us and saying na master Facebook and let them laugh. Because ما كله زول عنده وقت. انت بتضحك اليوم قال اليوم تضحك لكن بكره هتبكي. You know? اليوم ليكم لكن بكره هيكون بتاعنا. So Marcus, because then going to talk about the concern of our people blood. ناس تعمل قاعدين يقتلوهم قاعدين خواتنا قاعدين يغتصبوهم ما في محكمة. How could you believe JING Council هسه كلاماتهم ده كل ده أكاذيب. What they're talking ده أنا بس بختصر كلام بتاع يعني طبعا ما عندنا time كتير نكتر لكن we're gonna continue the next episode. The JING Council أنا قاعد نقول agreement طبعا هم هسه they try to criticize the agreement or they wanted to play this trick, you know, about إن هم ماشيين ببرنامج شنو نصيحة. يعني إذا كان لاحظهم قاعدين هم منصحين وليسوا جزء من شنو. They're not part of this chaos or part of any agenda جاي من كير. But in reality they are the one who influencing and empowering Kir and the SPLM and also the tribe of Dinka to go around and continue ruling over that nation the way how they're doing. Hassa, imagine contract in Amulu Khalik Mindana, but then another message. And I heard it a couple of days ago. Well, I think a lot of people read it in the news of Radio Miraya. There is a guy in West Equatoria, which is shameful. This guy is appointed, a governor appointed by Kir. He was never elected by the people of West Equatoria. Now he wants to make sure Galdariam will contract. What I think he's signing up the contract with Uganda. Imagine he's making a contract with Uganda, 2 point something billion dollars, so they can cut the teak or shajarata teak dalfi West Equatoria. Imagine this disaster for 5 years. That means there will be a desert area there, Haikun fi Sahara. But then for the same time, how many years we have seen so many contracts have been passing through in the land of Equatoria. They say $2 million, $6 million. Where these things gone? Where the money went? They want to build schools, they want to build road, if you did not build road since the time we became independent, what makes it credible that you're gonna build road after this? And we are still in a conflict within Equatoria right now. So what I'm telling you, we have a worst enemies in Equatoria, and those enemies are some of our Equatorians who are accepting to be slaves to Dinka regime, to the way how they're doing it. And they don't want to respect themselves to speak for the truth. Instead, they just want to fill their belly and accept, like ya hassle fi Mangala, governor ta Mangala be allow people from Bor yiji hinak, lakin akhwanu al-gadin fi Central Equatoria al-gadin turuduma SPLA militia da, cannot even bring them to Mangala and is settled there. Instead, they will go and run to Congo, run to Uganda. Look at the audacity. Look at this mindset. احنا ما قاعدين take care of our own brothers, لكن احنا بنقدر نكون خدام. We can be servants, slaves to our enemy اللي قاعد abuse us, and then نقول this is our brother. That's why I say these people are making mockery of us, disgustingly evil. Go ahead.
Yeah, Attica, what do you expect? If we are to stay with somebody for 20 years, or 22 years, what do you expect? Am I going to be against you or loyal to you? Definitely. Those guys are clear. Their policy are quite clear. People should understand it. It is the Equatorian generations, today's generations, those who, got the opportunities to get abroad, those who are outside today. I know it's hard here. It is not easy. I understand this life. But the major issue is that, when you're to hear about, if you got any information, any news, bad news about your home of origins, you should think about it twice. So those people are not new, gentlemen. So they have been there, and they were the one who put us into this situation today. Yet for me, there's a message that I wanted to tell those Dinka down there, those who are now invading our lands of Equatoria. Make no mistake, gentlemen, there's time to come. Today will not be like tomorrow. Things goes different. There'll be changes. I understand. There's a guy who have just pointed out that, it is just a thinking, separation of Equatoria. Again, I had to repeat, make no mistake. This was the same scenario that was going on during the industrializations, when people of Equatoria kept on watching all those evil people doing their rubbish things. Not until time comes when we could see people are crying. So we don't want to get to that point. So it is, for those Dinkas who are down there, those who are just getting in, those elements who are now with Kir, using the regimes as a means of how to get to people's land, occupy them, dividing them among themselves. There's time to come. We are coming. We are coming. There's no doubt we are coming. We're coming for you, Germans, guys. So for Equatorians, those who seems to be going to a parallel lines with what we are talking, separations is not, has never been our intentions, but we have been forced on us. Repeatedly, as I used to say, when somebody comes to your house, you don't have to be silent. As for those who says Equatorians are not united, what do you expect if you were to have a house burning, if the entire subdivisions are burning? Are you going to go for unity, or you're going to go to put out the fire? Guys, let's be realistic. Let's be logic in what we say when you're looking at the things that is going on. What do you think if Equatoria cannot stand today? For those who are calling themselves leaders, if you don't stand with your people today, what do you expect? You'll be, the future. People will look at you tomorrow. For those young guys who are kept on, supporting somebody, in the distant lands. Let's get to the lands. See what is going on in your home country, your home. Things are going bad, guys. We need to wake up. We need to wake up to the task and tell those people that this is the time. So I'm proud of people like Clement and Bishops.
Paulino.
Bishop Paul.
I forgot him. Yeah, I forgot them. Paul. Yeah, thank you for reminding me that.
Yeah, the kind of things that he's now doing in the area of Mundari. When that's a great thing to hear about. Though I don't know the details, but most probably many friends might have known about it. So it is very important for us, Equatoria, to come together. The enemy now is in our territory. The enemy is in our territory. Remember that, we used to be kingdoms before the Europeans would come to that land. We used to have our own kingdoms.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, when we say separations, it is the same thing when you look to Saudi Arabia. The Horn of Africa, which they later call it, Arab Peninsula. Remember that. Yeah, remember those people. They were wild, like those crazy guys who are now trying to get rid of us or doing all this rubbish. They were that way, not until Orange of Arabia came to them, to their rescue. Look what has happened. They decided to separate them as kingdoms. As you can see, you might have heard of Sultanate Oman, Mamlaka Arabiya Saudiya, Khalij, all this. Do you know what that is? It is a result of a mad people, a crazy people like those whom we are now facing. That's why they decided to divide it into a sultanates or kingdoms, of which they have survived. Yet, as you can see, some years ago, Saudi Arabia was not happy of Qatar. They went on after. Not until a third party came in. Now they're quiet. So we have those mad guys. We have those mad dogs all over the world. So Equatoria, you need to come to your sense. Wherever you are, as an elders, as a householder, as imams down there, please encourage your children. Tell them your country is burning. We need you. We need you by all means. As I've said, everything is on the table. Now this is the time. Our house in a fire, are now in a half and fire element. We need to come up to our task. We need to wake up and be the kind of those people who kept us, your ancestors, who kept us this land, as says our sister a few minutes ago. We need to stand. This is something, this is an oath. When you have a child, you expect him to carry your names as well as your daughter. So it's a time for all of us to stand and be that kind of people whom will not doubt and will not even leave an inch of his land to someone to come and play a game on it. For those of Mangala, Brother Jadala and all those who are down there, guys, the issue is not Mundari. Mundari had been there. We have mixed blood with them. For those who are in Mangala and all around, Mundari, we were side by side. Mundari has been now used. They have been targeted. The enemy is just working hard day and night. So you don't have to say that, you don't have to work against Mundari. Let's come together. We are family, man. We are family. We wouldn't have allowed a foreign to come to our lands and occupy it. Remember that we were proud of you by the time when you were there, but we don't know what was going on in the bush by the time when we were fighting with those getting and all that. You didn't prepare a way for us to get out safely, but you put us into these critical situations. So we urge you, people like Jadala and all of those, remember, you have your brother who's now out. He's now thinking twice how to get there, how to liberate that country. You know, people like Thomas Cirillo today. The guy is trying his level best. I understand. But we shouldn't be, we shouldn't turn against each other. We should work side by side because this is the critical times. If we didn't do it, then we're going to lose that land. Neither one of us children are going to see that land. So let us not put it that way. It is those Mundari who need work hard the other times to bring us to the point that, those people has to go. And it happens. Yet we turn back and say, when those people start establishing the SPLA in 1983, you know it very well. It was clear guidelines, big guidelines. Headlines that says, okay, we are against Kokora or decentralizations. What have you learned from all that issues? Did you learn it? Don't we learn anything at all? Guys, try to get back of what you're doing. Be a man of your own. Have a legacy tomorrow. I know this world is not ours. We're passing by. But give those who are around you, encourage them. Encourage them to stand for their lands. Because after all, a man can be a man when he can keep his house, when he can keep his family, his children, and not be harmed. If you look to the chicken, even a simple chicken can fight. So why wouldn't we? This is a time for us to stand. Everyone needs positions. If you can use a pen as a means, we will be with you. If you can use a gun as a means, we will be with you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's come to our sense and get to the task. It is time. Remember, where are those who are called, guarantors? Those of Sudan and Kampala. They are guarantors of what so-called revitalizations. What was their task actually? For those who have signed this deal last time and get in, let's ask ourselves, where are they? They're supposed to come up and say, stop you Kir, stop you Masha. It's unfortunate. None of them could do that. What can we understand from that, Equatoria? Could we understand that that is a unity? Or that is a peace? There's no peace down there, guys. Wake up. Wake up. Be a man of your house. Be a man and work hard to do something. Make a change. You don't have to be silent, waiting for death, to die slowly. Those people are terrible guys. Those are wild. Those are monsters who are trying to do everything in their power. But please, I beg you, these separations, we are not for that separations, but we have to do it. Traditionally, we are not going to live with those people any longer. The way how they did it for us, traditionally, everyone down there might have known that. You don't have to go and harm your sister. You don't go to harm your family members, whoever did that. That we will have no any relations with him for life. Perhaps some generations to come, but not this generation of ours and the one to come. So let's be very, very serious about these things. Traditionally, it's going to cost us a lot. So let's stop all this nonsense of those people. Now we are alone in this task. Unless we come up, they have once described us. They have, they went on to say that, those people are, those people are weak. This was how they were describing us. They tell us that, those people are weak. They are the minorities. You don't want to be called that names. We want it to stand. Remember, in the world we're living, if you're not strong, you're out of your house. You're out of everything that your positions. So let's stand up. Let's stand up. Our lands should be above all. Our families and everything. It's everything in our lives. So if you can't stand for your brother family, what do you expect outside here tomorrow? Supposedly this country says, okay, it's time for you to get out of here. We don't want you any longer. Wherever you are, what will you say? Where will you go? Where will you turn to? Come on, guys. That is our precious things. We have to stand to the last man, guys. We have to stand. Unless you tell your opponents who you are, he will not back up. He will keep on doing all this nonsense. Let's cut those people lines. Get to the embassies. Talk to those who are there. Try to interrupt them. Let us not take that mentality that we kept on moving with it during the Yalaba time. Where you look at the embassy, if that is Sudan embassy, then you turn out. No, you need to get there. Get to them. You see how those in the Middle East, the Israelis, how do they stand? The world we're living in is not easy, guys. Let's stand together. Let's unite. Unite for what? For one cause. To fulfill our duty as families, as members, as community, as clients, as everything. So I have to leave you here, gentlemen. Hopefully, let's hope for the best. Let's work hard, to turn this thing, this ship that is moving toward us. Let's do everything in our power. We can do that. I and you and every one of us who are here, who are looking at us, watching us, will be able to help. Unless you knock the door, it will not be open. Knock the door, it says Jesus, and then the door will be opened. That is exactly what we need at this moment of times. Those who are around you, get to those who are around you, whether it's Uganda, where the dictators and all that, tell them we are who we are. Tell them, and they will give you the help needed. Unless you approach somebody, unless you talk to him, don't be afraid of anyone. Get to him and tell him his story. The matter is easy. You have an influence. You can have an influence. Every one of us has a role to do. So you may be the guy whom we are looking for, the guy whom we are hoping for. That's why, guys, hopefully we stand to that point. I'll leave you down there, and I hope, you will join us the days to come. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. All right, thank you, CJ, for your input. And Taban, we will have this topic continued next time. But go ahead, Hadassah or Binlas. I said Binlas. Sorry, I was reading Binlasu's comment. Dictator Melo, go ahead, and then Hadassah, then for me, finalize. But I want to just say something here. The Kule Katorentana. I put this one. I don't know where did I go. Oh, I think I lost it. It's okay. Go ahead. I will write it again. I just messed up here. Namanana just haja bagalat. Go ahead. Dictator Melo. Your final word, final remark. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, please. Do you hear me, guys?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think something wrong. She need to unmute herself.
Yeah, go to the next. You can go to Didi as well while she's preparing.
Okay, go ahead, Didi.
Yeah,
Hadassah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add in and say with my last saying that at the end of the day, you mentioned, Gibelek, you mentioned about the oil, that they were fighting for the oil.
Yeah, exactly. The oil
If you
bit.
look at it, what all they did is wasted the oil on the land, got these Chinese guys over there and wasted the oil on the land, and they're now turning into a problematic issue that children have
Mm-hmm.
been born with, with defect issues and stuff like that. If you look at this, these are the people that now Equatorians, some Equatorians will bank their trust in them, will try to convince other Equatorians, that, if we just stay with the peace, if we just go with SPLA, if we just go with SPLM IO, maybe if we just escort them over there, if we just cross that line, maybe from there we can separate. These people, there's never going to be an end to them. There's something always they're going to do wrong. Like nothing, they can, everything that they touch with their hands turn into a curse. Just look at the oil that would have benefited
That
them,
is
would have
true.
built for
Thank
them
you.
their
Thank you.
region. They could have just taken the oil, just take the oil and go. Just don't even give us anything. Just profit yourself with it. But everything that they touch, they touch turn into a curse.
Death and
Yalla,
blood.
come on. Exactly. These people are never gonna change. Like you can hear Aldo Ajoy was saying that he said that the problem that they have there is like these two people are not agreeing. They were just never gonna agree. These people, they have never agreed from the get go. They will never agree to the end. Like what you said, these people just have no end to them, even if Jesus come. You know, like you said
Mm-hmm.
earlier. So it's like, yeah, they're not going to agree. Kira and Riek Machar, they will never agree. They will never come to a term that they signed peace agreement. And then he said something that also that the foreign countries or the international countries don't want to help them. How it's like they just reminded me exactly
Hadith,
the Equatorians that ran to
before.
Bahar al Ghazal TV. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like how do you expect a war in a tribal war in your country, in your own region, that you've escalated it in the entire country? How do you expect the international countries to come and help you? Today you have problem with your brother. Why do you bring the outsider? What do you expect even the other people to come and help you and help you to run your house? That what does that tell us? It tells us that we have people that are not capable, incompetent people in the country that are leading. They're just there to create chaos and then expecting the international what do you call it?
The community.
People from to come and help them. Fix what the
Organizations,
messes
yeah.
that they have
Yeah,
done.
international organization. Yeah, yeah. The NGOs and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
He made
yeah.
a
To come and
mockery out of
help
it.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Yeah, he
what they
said,
have done, they've created famine in the country, whereby they could have used the money for the oil, they could have used money from agriculture, they could have used, they could have done a lot, put South Sudanese into work, you know, be creative, create industries. And South Sudanese actually in other places, Equatoria and other places, they're very good in doing carpenting work, not only just agriculture only.
it's
We don't
skilled,
only
yeah.
survive on that. Yeah. Carpenting and Hajat Tanin Bara creative industry for entertainments and stuff like that. The country would have thrived very well. But then and again, you got like a cursed people that are living over there. Everything they touch, they will touch gold. It will touch to to something else. And the other thing that like we are struggling with these people. These people actually are not new. This group of people, they are not new.
Uh-huh.
We're not the only people struggling with these people. From my research and from my, what I've been referred to by, one of, like one of our team, that
Mhm.
these people are the same people that have migrated. They've been calling us that we are from Congo and stuff like that. Actually, they're not even from the land of South Sudan. They even migrated from other places like the West
That
Africa
is
and stuff
true.
like that.
That is true.
And these people are connected to the same tribe of Fulani in Nigeria and in Senegal. They have the same behavior. They inhabit the same system of keeping cattle, and they like to move from place to place, taking over people's land, moving into people's forest and stuff. Just exactly, this is a branch of them that
That is a
keep
curse.
going and moving
That is a
around.
curse.
Yeah, and now these people of Biafra and stuff like that, they're struggling against them, and they're actually taking serious. They want to separate from them because of this kind of behavior. They're just exactly the same people. So it's like I feel like if you can see this kind of characters that in other nations, people struggle with them. People can't even don't want to live with them, and this is a branch of them from over there. This is their relative from over there that have migrated down, ended up in South Sudan. So why do Equatorial think that you can change them, you can live with these people? And this is not the first time that we have decided we wanted separation from these people. This is the second time. I would have expected that these generations of today, that would have really appreciated that, you know what, we appreciated our people that are separated from these people because they had actually a legit point. And actually the people that are weighing in, you know, that you know, they want these people, they love these people, suck up to these people, they are the people that actually have benefited very heavily from the days of separation. They have enjoyed this, you know, the separation of Equatoria from the, you know, from the rest, you know, the days of Kokora. These people have enjoyed it, and this very generation that have enjoyed peace, now they don't want the younger generation to enjoy peace. They don't want younger generation to enjoy the same things that they have had, you know. They want just chaos. This is just selfishness, because if I'm not gonna get good, so you know what, I'm not gonna allow other people to get good. And then they turn it into saying that, oh, we are divided. If Enna can separate it from these people, tomorrow we're going to separate into pieces, we're going to kill each other. Yeah, Jama, even we Equatorians, if we disagree all the time. But if we disagree, we don't turn into chaos. Nobody doesn't disagree. Nobody doesn't have little quarrels among them. In every house that in a family, there's a little chorus going on. But we don't turn into chaos like Naze. We never turn into that. We value life. You know, we don't like Suma. We don't like Zato ita barak, Zato just your neighbor, just to turn up into your neighbor's house, Sambala Zato, you know, it's like, you know, unreasonable. Zato you feel ashamed to, you know, to create inconvenience to your neighbor. But then as they do, they will just cross the border, Jahina Kalas Gal, this is my place. So this is just what I just want to remind Equatorians that, you know, I'm really glad that, you know, even the more that these people, whatever they're doing, they're exposing themselves more and more and more. And now you hear Equatorians are saying all over around, saying that, you know, you know, you hear these words coming from Equatorians. We cannot live with these people. This is just enough. Imagine that the only word that they say, this is
نفس
really
الشيء
very
حصل
huge.
مع شمال السودان. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
We were in the north.
This is
We
this is
didn't see that we
the
can live
pilot.
with the Arab remnants because
Mm-hmm.
they always identify themselves as Arabs and they look at us as ihna abid. That's what they used to
Yeah.
call black people in South Sudan. Ito abid. Kalam da
Mm-hmm.
ma jasa. Abid de manatu slave. So they see themselves superior على أساس إنه هم يالتا Arab. When in reality they are leftover of Arabs. They are not even acknowledged by the Arabs. The Arabs themselves, they don't look at them as Arab. If they go to Arab countries, they insult them. Today we have a new Arab, which is why we call them the new Arab, is now the Dinkanism and this tribalistic mindset that is coming from Upper Nile, mentality to rule over others. إننا خلقونا نحكم. We are born to rule. So this mindset, of course, is not going to create us to be in a harmony of unity. حتى لو كلام بتاع unity on a purpose, there ما في حاجة اسمه unity on purpose with unity of purpose, though the other person does not even acknowledge you as an equal. How could you want to be united with somebody maga ita ma equal mao? He look
Yeah,
at you.
well, excuse me, Atika, you remind me something. You know, it was long ago. You know, during the around 70s or 80s, I mean, or 60s. I remember those people. You know, we used to hear about them that, you know, when their family member die, you know, they had to leave the house. You know, they don't used to bury their death. You know, they're fearing. You know, they just leave the house right away. Go ahead. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I
the
think
Yeah.
they
nature.
did that in Juba. CJ, you're right. They've been doing that in Juba. I think early after, right away from when people signed the what did it say, the referendum. You know, when people all went back to South Sudan,
So
they've been
imagine
doing that
what kind of
until people started
individual is that.
complaining. Yeah, people started complaining. People they said started refusing renting houses for them and stuff like that. So they started learning. They still inhabit that behavior.
Yeah, that's
Even
the
here,
kind of
I
people.
hear that some of them that where I am, I've heard from a friend of mine saying that there was one that, you know, when they have their people dying or something like that, they just don't care. One that a friend of theirs painted in front of them, and they just look at them and they're just walking away from her, like as if
Oh
it's not
Jesus.
their cousin or
Oh
their friend or
Jesus.
something
Oh
like that. These
Jesus.
people are heartless. Yeah, they're heartless.
Yeah.
But in saying that, the only thing that Equatorial needs to understand is like these people, Equatorians are saying that when you're saying that we should stand up for ourselves, they will tell you that first of all we are not united. This kind of people. First of all, you don't even know the history. We should go back. If we're going to talk about Equatoria, we've got to go back to the history. It's like right now you got somebody slapping you, whacking the heck out of you. You know, why would you
Those
say
are
that? I
times
want to
the
talk about
people.
the history. Yeah, where I came from, where my grandmother, how did this Equatoria exist?
That's right.
You just gotta deal with the problem that is happening. Eliminate this person. I already know who we are. We already know where we came from. We're not talking about it. We're not holding history class here. We're holding a war, a chaos, something that had happened. Somebody invaded us. When they invaded us, they didn't come that they want to fight a war of history with us. They're not debating history with us. That we say, hang on, let's go and revise our history. Kede. Who was our grandfather? When did we enter here? How did it happen? And started speculating into other stuff and munu munu dak. You've got an invader that came to your land. You have to get rid of them out. As simple as that, as quick as possible as you could. Not go back to history and munu munu. We don't need those things. This is a waste of time. And in coming into that, we are not really like having unity and stuff like that. First of all, these people that don't have unity amongst them, they're killing each other. But in invading us, they invade quickly to come and kill us and dominate us. So why would we not inhabit the same model that okay, maybe I'm not happy with plan and plan, but right now I have an outsider that is invading me. So should you say your brother should die because you're just not happy of another brother? Should you say you're not uniting to save Equatoria because Barry is fighting with Mundari, because Mundari is fighting with Fojulu, so here you're not gonna unite? This is just ridiculous. This is
وهم blood
absurd.
related. Blood
This
related
is
كمان.
just really, this is barbaric behavior, because the reason why this Mundari is fighting with Mundari, Bari is fighting with Bari, and this is Mundari is fighting with Fojulu and Munu Munu Delta, because of the reason of the invader, the very invader, the perpetrator that we have in between us, is the one causing them to kill each other. So
That
we
is
said,
true.
let's remove this perpetrator out from within us. Let's get the
Even
perpetrator out, so that
that's right.
so that we stop killing each other, so that we stop fighting. And
I
here you
wish.
are,
Yeah.
you're saying that because, thank you, please, because we are fighting. So because they are fighting over there, so we're not united. We're not going to sit here and talk. But the reason why we say that let's get these people out, because these people are the reason. They are the source to this. The reason why these people are fighting. Did you see how this is connected? Like it's connected together. That's why we're trying to get them out, because they are the one creating those chaos from the from underground. So that's why we're trying to get rid of them, because we don't want for Julu to fight Mundari, Mundari to fight for Julu to defend themselves again, Mundari, Bari to fight themselves, Muru to fight Munu Munu, Kakwade to fight Munu, The Kakwa people has actually been dominated by Dinka over there. They just collapse like even just quiet. So yeah. So
It's sad.
this
It's
is why
sad.
we want these people out. Yeah, this is really sad. And these people are acting obstacle. And this is why gives us reason here, like if we think about it, guys, it gives us a reason that now this our people, like those people back there, as Wani, as Jadala, as Munu Munu, all these people, as did Ilya Munu Munu
دل
Dagde,
مرسين كبار.
you begin to think, you begin to think about these people that are coming out and instead of speaking against what the message that you're saying.
قال
You begin to
احترم
think that,
هذا
yeah,
like أنهم
yeah.
gods
You
or
you
prophets.
begin to think that,
Who
why
put
are
them
they?
there
You
عشان
raise
يكونوا قادة؟
questions.
منو خطاهم هناك؟ كاري.
Exactly.
Nobody
Yeah,
appointed
you
them
raise
either.
questions.
Only Dinka appointed them to be leaders, to represent Equatoria
Exactly.
falsely. Come
Yeah.
on, they did it
But
false. Yeah,
they just put. Yeah, they're just using them in so that if just so that people know that oh, what about Plan
cover up
is
their
here.
crime against
Yeah.
Equatorians.
Yeah. So it's like we begin to ask questions such as okay, why are you now speaking so much exactly like our people that are back there, these people that are sell out, our leaders, that our elders that are sell out, working with the Dinka, with the JING Council? Why are you sounding like them? Is there a question? Should we begin to question you? Why are you defending them even? Should we begin to question you? Why are you coming here drunk? You can't even face us. Is there a motive behind it? Why? Because they said out that where there's a smoke, there's a fire. What do they say? Where there's a fire, there's a smoke going up.
Whenever there is a
Because why
smoke,
would
there
you
is a
come here?
fire, of course.
Yeah, Didi.
Exactly. Yeah. So why would
This
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
عشان
Why would you come
yeah.
here begin? And then the
Excuse me.
defending of the
Yeah.
leaders. Nowadays, I begin to hear people say, people keep saying leaders, 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 but nowadays they begin to actually say their name out. They say leaders like Naswaniga, Nas Munu Munu, those leaders over there. And they say if you want to separate, even we should consult people like Naswaniga. Really? The same
Wow.
Waniga that is shedding our blood. Our people are dying because of Waniga. What? And then I go over there and tell Waniga that Waniga, look, you're killing us. You have brought people to invade Equatoria. You have sold us out. You have brought this Dinka to be there. You forced us to make what do you call it, Juba as a capital city instead of Ramshell. Now, what you've done is killing us. So could you please solve this? Could we ask Waniga that question? That we want to separate with Waniga, accept that, say, Jama?
They're awful.
Zol say in the
Weakness.
right mind, say, yeah,
This
Zol
is
in the right
weakness.
mind, say, who in the right mind will go to Waniga and say that Waniga, I understand you have sold us out. You have brought these people here to use Juba as capital city. Now Equatoria is taken. You know, Jadala, you have brought these people in Mangala now, created like Susa between Bari and Ajere. You've sold. You've given Mangala out actually completely. You've given the land out to these people. So can you please come and let's separate? Is that making sense here, Jama? Nazda Karo for Adil Kida.
Now, let me interject.
Yeah,
There's
please,
something
please
that,
go ahead.
yeah, would you please? Yeah,
Yeah,
Atika, are you
sure.
there? Yeah, there's one thing, we need to enlighten our people, those Equatorian out there. There is one thing that is going on now. Remember that, the money that is pouring to South Sudan, right away to the hands of those, brutal guys, those barbarics, they are now using the tactics of what? Of classifying people into a rich and poor, where the rich can use money, to bribe the poor, and the poor will give up himself to go and fight his brothers. So this is the tactics that is going on. Yet my message to those Equatorians who are there, Equatoria has never been that kind of classifications. We're always a family. We're always handling ourselves as a family, whether we are in the highest positions or else we have money. That is how we're handling ourselves. Remember that, people of Equatoria, we are a social group kind of people. We believe in what is called family, the unification of family. We can't take our elders and put them in elderly care, for instance. We don't take our children and put them else, to a daycare or a child care. It always depends, because God has already arranged it. The older you become, if you're women's or men's, the better off you are, the family is. The moms will take care of the child of the daughter. That is the system that was going on. Today, this system is going through some changes. That is why those people like, those guys as Dinka, Jamal, they are using these tactics in order to overcome our people, put them down. That's why they are now getting braves, money. And then you could see them, Waniga Quays without Quays. That is how things come to that point. So we need to get out of this kind of mentality, guys, as Equatorians. We are one family. We are not divided. We have never been divided against each other. We have never stand against each other. Whenever there is a conflict, we used to settle. Thank you.
Okay, I wanted us next time to have more time. We can discuss this about the unity of Equatorial and get deeper into that conversation, so we can have points. We believe Equatoria is united, and we're gonna put it clear. And then Hadassah, brother Wilson Laku said there is correction to you.
Atika,
Hold on.
Did you get me?
Correction to me to what?
Just hold on a second. Just I want to correct before I get interrupted. تصحيح قال correction. أنا ما أعرف if you understand. I know you don't read Arabic, but أنا بقرأ لك تصحيح للأخت حداثة. جاد ليس له دخل في دخول الدينكا في منقلة. السؤال هو حاكم الاستواء الوسطى الجديد. المسؤول هو حاكم الاستواء الوسطى الجديد.
That's not true. That's
بمعنى
not true.
ثاني.
It was told. That's not true. That's not true, Etika. It was told to me by somebody from down there too. Somebody from
Okay,
Mundare.
okay,
And when he
okay.
told me that, I don't want to mention his name here because he was also a governor before there too. When he
Yeah,
told me
okay.
that, he said that he did not come out only to blame the Bari or the Ajere Bara, but he spoke also the
Mundari
truth of
Obari, yeah.
the force
Yeah,
of Mundare too. I
all
even
of
spoke
the,
to you about it. You remember?
yeah, I know,
It's
but
not
I'm
just
just
coming
saying,
from a
yeah.
Yeah, I spoke with somebody
Atika,
that's actually legit and he has source with what is happening there, and he was even an ex-governor there. So yeah.
if I can interject, if I can interject on this point, Atika, there is one thing. If what Didi have said is wrong, then let him prove it.
No,
Because
okay, listen, it's not about proof or not. It's just that, there is
no.
misunderstanding maybe. But I'm just
No.
saying, it's not about argument here
Hold
on this. But
it
yes,
here.
I understand your point, Hadassah, is
Hold it
clear.
here.
And I agree with you because you got a source from there. So that means is
Well,
is
it says,
actual. Because what answer?
Asmaniana, it
قبل
says,
ما
قاعد يقول شنو؟ المال سيد اسمع المال خادم جيد ولكن له سيد فاسد. That means money is a good servant, but it's an enemy at the same
I
time.
don't reject your point. I don't reject your
Whatever
point.
you are, you can be brought down. You understand? Thank you.
أنا فهمت. أنا بس ده نقول شيء هنا. This is not the point of argument, but the point is الناس اللي هسه هناك قاعدين يمثلوا Equatorians الشغالين لدينكا, they're completely sellouts. A lot of them, regardless of that, to accept the truth or not, or they either are quiet and not allowing to stand up or organizing something to defeat this regime, tribal regime al guide هناك. Because I don't know whom going to go to limit. This is the question بس عن نفسي لهم. How long are you going to stay and say إننا بنعمل بعدين? That's why the same thing another answer my brother هنا قبل شوية أنا to link وقال there link. His name is Johnson Pitbird. I gave you the link, brother. If you can come in, I would love to talk with you. You're welcome. As long as you're in Equatoria, my brother, you're very welcome. We respect your point and opinion, regardless if we disagree or not agree. But في حاجة عندنا نقوله هنا mentioned to my brother Johnson Pitbird earlier. I mentioned from the start of the live video. I said كتير ما نقعد نسمع ناس بقول boots in the ground, boots in the ground. Let's come to this acknowledgement هنا. نوصل لتوضيح تا كلام ده. احنا هسه كان شفنا جنوب السودان so many boots in the ground, so many boots in the ground, إن كان في بحر الغزال, إن كان في على النيل, إن كان في استوائية. But what are they doing? They're just creating another chaos. هم قاعدين يوزعوا الحرب, هم ما قاعدين يوقفوا الحرب, هم ما قاعدين ينتصروا في الحرب. We want people to win a war, not to continue prolonging the war. And for us, those who are now speaking out, we want the war to end. Because you cannot live in a nation where always violence and conflict going to be a way to call ourselves, this is the way how we're going to solve our issues. Al mentality بتاع النيل, or the Upper Nile mentality, which is now always focused on violence. حتى لو بقرة قتلوه بكرة تلقى 10 نفر قتلوه من قبيلة ده عشان بقر واحد. We are not that mindset. What Equatoria now is facing, the conflict at Dinka and Nuer اللي حصل 2013, and Equatoria blindly joined Ayo, that was the biggest cause اللي جاب حرب جوا Equatoria. Because Equatoria at that time, there was no reason for Dinka to come in with their military force until Namunum Shafu Equatorian, when they saw Equatorian joining in the Ayo. That's why last time, أنا بديك فرصة. Hold on.
I
Let me
disagree. Just on a point.
let me finish, but I didn't finish and أديك
No,
فرصة.
a point here. Please.
I can't even finish my point. Don't. Go ahead.
Kamal, if CJ to interject, maybe it's something that
Okay, go ahead.
can push you for a
just
point.
clarification.
I'm trying to speak to the brother Hinak into the Wallington. Go ahead, speak. I'm listening.
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. ما أنا خلاص سكت. أديتك فرصة تتكلم. Tell me what you want to say exactly on that point that I'm wrong, so I can, because I didn't even finish my point why I said that, so I don't forget what I was trying to say. But go ahead.
Go ahead, repeat it. Go ahead, repeat it. Else, you go ahead. لأنه شعرانا.
No, أنا ده ما مشارة, بس أنا نقول شنو, لأنه I'm focused on this brother هو قاعد يقول boots in the ground. قلت لما الناس إيكاتوريين دخلوا في وسط مشكلة 2 نفر 2 قبيلة, المشكله دي تحول الحرب لما جاء بقى اتفاقيه بتاع ايو واس بي ال ام عشان يرجعوا في حكومه يعملوا مشاركه حكومه. Equatorian are the one who paying the price. الحرب
Exactly. I wanted to correct you in. Okay, can I get in? Yeah. What I mean to say is that it wasn't exactly as you have said. أنه لما إيكواتوريا مشوا هناك اتحالفوا مع الناس زين. لما هم when they went and collide, become a coalitions مع ally مع ناس نوير. It is that could have been a primary point, but this critical point is that by the time when they went and deployed, الناس اللي حرقوا ملكال
Well,
وحرقوا
I did
محلات
not finish that point. Mana Jai.
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
hold it. You don't have to concentrate on that. Concentrate on when those troops were brought into Juba, and then there was two army. Remember that people were crying that this country it seems to be going into a two army. من عندهم two army لأنه مشار عنده ناس مجموعة بتاعه وديل عنده مجموعة بتاعه. So they become two army. Today, as I've said, there's numerous of them. That's why we need, if people of Equatoria were to stand at that time and the way how those of Congo stand, remember when those of Kir were brought to Congo get out of here. That if Equatoria people were to stand, like in Equatoria were thinking that they were really dreaming that they're thinking that things will work out, and we should know okay, those people are going to be held accountable. It's unfortunate.
Okay.
So that's the shocking point. So the point here is that deployment of those people. Adom Hinak, in a civilian uniform, and then they gave him uniform, 25 miles of Juba, claiming that Juba will be a no war zone area. Imagine that was what turned Equatoria to become a field, a theater, a war theater. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anabas, I didn't respond to this guy, and now he's talking nonsense here. Say Facebook sheep talk won't help answer your question, brother. I'm being respectful to you, and you have to respect yourself clearly. Okay, you guys, if you really are a man, go fight there, get injured, and see what it is. Don't think like we don't talk to these guys down there. So don't come up here and talk nonsense. If you are, because sometimes I doubt even you're Equatorian, because if you can't even comprehend.
Don't mind about him. Don't mind about him.
We need to talk, please. Ana deta fursa. Khalina talk best in this point, because I was responding to him politely, but he comes up and say Facebook is sheep talk, whatever. Let me tell you something. If you don't have awareness, how could you continue call yourself a person, a citizen? You don't even know the meaning of citizenship. Do you understand the right of a citizen? Because if you understand the right of citizen, you don't even talk about boots on the ground. You talk about your rights. If you cannot comprehend that idea, don't come and tell me sheep, Facebook sheep talk, because you don't even have the civility to comprehend. I'm trying to debate with you. I'm trying to give you a knowledge, my brother. If you don't have knowledge, don't talk about boots on the ground. Real man, a real warrior, ما بيمشي بس بشكل. ناس اللي بشكل ده عشان كده European defeated Africans so many times in battles, not because European are stronger than them, but because European use tactics. They use a strategy. حتى الشماليين they'll defeat us. ما تقول لنا انتصرنا.
That is true.
So don't ever come and talk nonsense about boots on the ground. Boots on the ground is not a talk on Facebook writing down. You need to cooperate. You need to participate. You need to do something. We are here doing our part. What are you doing? Instead of coming here trying to talk nonsense, I was kind of being polite to you, but you're not polite. So that's why I have to come up and respect you. I gave you a chance. Even I gave you a link to come in and talk. But you want to talk about boots in the ground, all that. Because to be honest with you, if you cannot comprehend a knowledge and a common sense, don't come and tell me what boots in the ground is. I was a soldier, okay? I know what war is. And a soldier need to use his mind, not use his strength. He use his mind and use his own strength with his brain that he has, process that ideas and then go ahead and win a war. Because you cannot continue fighting. The war always has a limitation. That's why you see other countries, they don't want to prolong. They have a strategic time, a moment. They say, I want to fight at this time, make sure I capture this area. If I'm not going to win, then they have to come into that point of compromise. But you are talking about boots in the ground, and there's some kids who are not educated, who don't even have a chance to go to school. We need to provide for them a future. We don't want them to go and be buried in the ground for your sake because you want boots in the ground. You don't even go and participate. If you go there and participate, then come back. Because I know these guys who are fighting there don't even talk about boots in the ground. They know what they're doing. They do their job. They sit down there quiet. I spoke with some real heroes.
Please,
You know?
This man just wants to
Yeah,
disrupt you.
because
forget
this
it.
is
If I,
Forget
disrespectful.
him.
if you would
Talking about
allow
sheep
me,
talk. If we're sheep talk, what kind of talk are we talking about? If you don't like it, just exit. Go find somebody who share your mindset. The mind that you want to send some other kids to go and fight for you, and you while you sitting here writing in Facebook and talk about like you're more patriot than others. I'm not saying I'm more patriot than others. I'm talking about the pain that my people are suffering, and I have to speak conscience to everyone who are understanding what's going on. They need to come up
Etika,
and do something. So these
Etika,
kind of behavior, you need to check yourself. If either you're Equatorian, you need to know how Equatorian think and talk. Or either you're a sellout or either you are one of these BGs who pretend to be Equatorian. Go ahead.
Etika. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry for interrupting you. I
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
wanted to
I
say
just
that.
didn't like the
Yeah,
attitude because I was trying
yeah,
to
I
be
know,
polite and answer, and then he come up and talk nonsense, say
I know,
sheep talk. That's not. What are you talking about?
I
What
know,
are
I
you
know, I
doing
know.
in your
Sorry, I
community
know,
first before you talk?
تخطاوا
I
يا
know.
أخي
Just
تخطاوا.
it's okay, it's okay.
Look
I
at
just
that.
wanted to
Look
say
at
that.
that. Say the question
Yeah,
is
all
not
right,
going
it's okay, all right. I'll try to delete this man. Just
No, no,
please,
no. Don't worry. Don't worry.
just
Don't
make
worry. No, don't do that because that will
just to
show
make matters
weakness.
easy.
Now,
So
I
just
just
to make
wonder,
matters
like, what kind of mindset
so,
he's sitting down talking mockery, and then if you really
yeah, I
a
know,
man, just go in there
but
and provide that boots in the ground because you are one of the bodies. Go and help. Can you loborong hinak? Go sadu. But I think you to talk to me as like you kind of like know war better than me. Everyone who's seen war, they know what they talk. They don't even encourage people to die and go to fight for something that they know is going to be a lot of life lost. If I want to go to war, I have to make sure I'm going to win that war. Winning the war is more important. Take the enemy into the head.
can
أكثر راس الدبيب أولا قبل ما تجي
can,
تخطاوا يا
can I
قلت
say
لك
can I say
تخطاوا.
what I want to say now? Can I
Yeah,
Ignore
say
go
him,
what
ahead.
I
please. He's
just
just
thought?
coming to waste time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Can
Go
I
ahead. I'm
And
gonna
can I
he
send
say
must
that.
be
what?
a dinka. He must be a dinka.
Yeah, okay. Let's forget him. I just answered him. Whatever he want to write, he can go ahead write. But go ahead. Sorry,
Please,
I
you
apologize.
don't have to answer the
Yeah,
Facebook all the time. Just get out
I
of
wanted
them.
to say,
No, I
I
just don't
wanted to
like
say,
nonsense. I have to stand up against nonsense. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I know, but I wanted to tell you that this person has been sent just to irritate you, just to give them the same
Yeah,
response that
don't worry. Let's
you sent.
focus on the
So
subject. Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
I know. I will tell you who sent this person exactly. I will tell you later
No,
on.
don't worry about him.
Yeah.
We don't need to
So
know. We're
so
gonna talk later.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just saying because so that you don't really waste your time answering him because it's actually just exactly sent by someone. Just
it's okay. I don't care
So
about that.
yeah, he's
Shukran.
been
That's correct.
assigned to
That's
this
correct. Uh,
yeah. These people think
Thank
that
you.
they do things in the background we don't know, but we know we hear it when they talk, when they decide what they're gonna do. We know all these things. We get to hear it too. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. That just like don't mind him. Just conclude it, and because
Yeah.
it's
I just
getting
want
late
you
for you
your
guys.
final word. Your final word, because I don't want it to prolong. Tabana Asa
Yeah,
almost
it
gone.
was
3
Asantwa
hours.
talking, and then he
Yeah,
was not there.
Asante.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead,
he wasn't
Asante.
there.
Your final word, so I can finalize, and then that's it. Because I gave him a chance, but unfortunately, he was trying to say he wanted to come in, but it's okay. Go ahead. I think, but I apologize to my fellow brothers and sisters. I just because the question was kind of, you know, I'm trying to be as sincere and honest with him, but apparently he's mocking when it comes up to the answer. He say, these, Facebook nonsense, whatever. Like we're not here to sit down and so we can talk nonsense. We have life. We have everything we do in our life personally. We deal with it. But when we come here, we speak conscience to our brothers and sisters so we can rise up together in knowledge and in
Mm.
strength and in spirit. Because when we get Equatoria, we don't want to get Equatoria, confused like what happened last time when we were in the Sudan Al Wahid. Because when we were in Sudan, a lot of our Equatoria never spoke to each other and questioning the idea of a nation, even to the point that when we become a nation, what is our purpose? What is our duty? Never happened like that. Today, we have that opportunity as Equatorian to come up together and speak with honesty to each other. And there is some people who will never like what we're saying about Equatorial to be independent, but we still respect them. But when they go against our, rights in respect, then we get to be, you know, really sad because this is not what we want. We want every Equatorian to know their rights because you are a citizen. When they call you a citizen, then you have a duty and you have a right. ده أهم شيء عندك حقك وعندك واجبات بتاعك كمواطن. حاجات دي ما في جنوب السودان اليوم because everybody know that بس انا عندنا بترول وانا ياو كل زول قد ينتمي لحزب اكثر من او بينتمي لقبيله اكثر من ينتمي للوطن والارض. This is what the problem we're facing. And for us Equatorians, we don't want to be in the same predicament. We need to isolate ourselves from them respectfully for our right and for our generation الجاي ورانا. because قاعد نفكر في المستقبل تاع الناس الجايين قدام لانه احنا الشغل بتاعنا زي I wrote here and this is one of the message sorry انا بديك فرصة message مهم جدا ده نقوله the purpose of our life. الأساس بتاع الحياة بتاعنا في الدنيا is not for us to live يعني ما عشان نعيش لكن عشان نجهز طريق للمستقبل الجاي to prepare the future for the next generation. لأنه إحنا بس شغلنا أجدادنا هم جهزوا لنا الطريق لما ولدونا they did their best. You know, our fathers raised us, أمهاتنا تيبوا أبوهاتنا تيبوا كبرنا. Today now we are in generation are capable to build a new family. Once we have this family, then we go for the next generation. We have to prepare for them the right life. ما بدنا نخليهم يقعوا في مأسانا وقعنا فوقه. ما عاوزين يكونوا مشردين. ما عاوزينهم يكونوا عايشين في دول غربة يختلطوا مع أجانب وينتهوا. Now this is what happened. We need to end the war. So this is why I say the purpose of life is not for us to live, but for us to prepare tomorrow for our next generation. So I say, think about it, our Equatorian family, because they're wajibat bitana as Equatorians. And with all the respect, go ahead, Sister Asunta. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me this chance once again. Yeah, I'd like to take this opportunity just to give like a word of advice to our youth of Equatoria. Youth Equatoria, you guys don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. حاجات اللي قاعد يحصل لسه within Equatoria land شباب best all of a sudden you'll find someone committing suicide, all of a sudden زول يحرق نفسه for order, all of a sudden Merisa until life tanas كله كده بس be end up without any meaning. حاجات دل كله temporary. Just we need to unite ourselves and then remain focused. One day peace day, even if it's not going to happen now, one day peace will be within Equatorial region if we all come together and accomplish what we want for our coming generation. But then every youth, I mean Shabab, Indom talent and everything, those who sing, those who do drama, those who do traditional dances, continue with your activities. Do not feel intimidated by security guys. And we'll try to also create awareness, like Junubin, to be supporting you guys, Shalaf in YouTube, Equatorians. If even you guys don't like the songs, just subscribe and open it and close it just to promote them, because some of them, they know how to deal with these accounts of the YouTube, and one day maybe if they reach the target number, maybe they will get paid. It will be another way of financing them instead of leaving them like that, Ashan security guys to come to use them like insiders or maybe people to report. Yalatani, I would like to talk directly to Salatina Lassar. They received the V8. How are you going to fuel your V8 after this money if it's finished? V8 hata can be me at $1,000. How are you going to maintain it? Last week, the V8 wahed become, and you are living there in that village deep down. How will you maintain it? The same thing, divide the plot, will come there and take the V8 jua and attack it. Today in Nasfi Equatoria, they see their cars moving around town, NASA national security. Do they have that gut to ask them, like, this is my car and give me my car back? No. So this V8 is just to lure you in to sign some papers. After that, you cannot take your neck. Gurush fail and heal, but how will you get yourself out of that Gurush? And I'm so proud of that one Sultan that refused the V8 and the money, and he's still in his clan poor. But one day, the use of the group will help him. As if you look to Juba, that Bahar, it's not clean. Every day sickness. Why? But because these Dinkas, they receive bribes, Minasta Hotel, and then they dump all the dirtiness in the river. And Fiom that Bahar Bikun Maf, if other countries feed the Bahar can disappear, can environmental wasaha kulu every time is powered there.
Yeah, but
Nobody care. They don't care about Equatorial. They're there just to make their money out of it and partner with people who are crooks around the world to just make money and get out of the land after some time. It is us who are going to be left there and to suffer again. Ashankida hajata Equatorians will attack you guys separatists against it. We are not against any political party. If you're fighting for the whole Sudan, continue fight and we will meet there. But for us as a group, we want to focus on Equatoria because maybe one day the coming generation will have peace of mind, because we can't leave our children to die and people to be raped and killed while we are thinking that one day we can change other people. Nobody can be changed. Everybody is growing up since childhood by culture, and this culture people believe in. How will you change culture as Zoltan if he's believing that is normal? في Equatoria zaman كان في بيكا everybody shakes اي زول بيكا ده بيكون زي حاجة خوف حاجة كده shocking. But today bika is becoming يعني زي حاجة عادي, because بتسمع ليلة في بيكا ده tomorrow this bika قاعدين naturally كده عادي. So time will come even our culture can change similarly later bigis then. So we don't want to reach that level as we have values and we want to protect our values. عشان كده Equatorians, we need to focus on what we want. So Nasal, we believe that maybe one day unity can help the whole South Sudan plus Equatorial. Let them continue with the mission. All of us will just see how it will end up. But we don't want anybody attacking us, or we don't want even to attack other people. We will just be focusing on our Equatorians so that they can get the information that they need for their land, and they will just be like more educated on what they want to do. Ashan ma you lose hope, people trying to end their life due to frustration. Or nas bikunu guiding happy in the US, like excited and then talking nonsense about our group. We don't want that, and we don't want to attack anybody, but let's focus on our land. And my wish is that one day everybody will join our call. Yeah, long live Equatoria, long live our land.
Thank you, sister.
thank you so much, guys. And thank those who are watching and listening, and those who shared, and those who watch later. I want to say thank you, and I also want to apologize for. I would say my humble apology for one reason is that yes, sometimes you get irritated when you see people who try to misuse your word, or undermine your word, because when you speak the facts from your heart and you speak it out of conscience and awareness that there is something wrong in our community and we need to stand up for it, they need to kind of like pay attention, not mock, not insult and laugh at it, because yeah, it's sometimes sadly there is some sad things happen, and sometimes there is funny things, and even it's funny in a way, but not in a funny as comedy, but it's funny that you'd be surprised like what is going on with these people's mind, like what's going on in South Sudan in general. The guys who call themselves PhD holders, they have like they really put South Sudan in a map of the most ridiculous nation in the world, that the world are now looking at us with all these PhDs that they have. There's so many people call themselves PhD holders but cannot even run a nation. Imagine that. But if you look at other dictators in the world, if I could give you an example of like Saddam Hussein or like Gaddafi, those guys are not even PhD holders, but they built their nation. Imagine Gaddafi made sure that the place was a desert. The guy made sure there would be water for every citizen, even though he's a dictator. But he had a vision. He was brilliant. He was simple. He understood the basic needs of the people. But those guys don't understand the basic. Everybody I've seen today in South Sudan, sadly, that people will claim themselves PhD just to arrogantly stand up and brag about themselves like those peacocks, you know, with no ability to fly. But they just raise their wing like almost flying. Everybody like, whoa, they start clapping. Oh, well, all into Jinafik the retir. Like, listen, how Taus guy he would never fly. Yahud Belademagidrigum. He cannot even rise because these guys, we got a lot of peacocks claiming to be PhD holders, or too many generals claiming to be generals, but they don't even know the meaning or the necessity of military, the necessity of command, of how to win a war and to bring a decisive solution where you cannot create another anarchy within the nation. They cannot do that. Those guys are joke. That's why, sadly, the North Sudanese last time, Omar al-Bashir al-Makar Rais قال الحشرات الشعبية. because he undermined them, because he know the mentality of these characters, including the regime, who are the regime leadership that is now calling themselves government. We don't have a government. We did not elect them. None of us elected these guys, and these guys came hijacking the power from us. And that's why I want to remind Equatorians: we are those who are believing in Equatoria could unite with South Sudan. They are really delusional in all manner, because if this guy did not respect your voice, those who voted, there is a lot of Ecuadorians who voted for independence of South Sudan from the north, or secession of Sudan from north, or separation from Sudan, from South Sudan from the North Sudan. What did these guys did? They didn't even respect us. They immediately came and said, "Ihna hararnakum." They came and said, "We liberated you." That was the claim, and then they put Kir as the king, as the president. So for us, my brothers and sisters of Equatoria, we have to stand together for the sake of the next generation. Let's not worry about ourselves who are living, if you're living well or you're living miserable. And I want to also thank you for reminding me this, Sister Asunta. I want to say to our brothers and sisters Al Juba Hinak, I don't want you to give up. You guys have a chance. You are the future, regardless how bad it is. Itakandatamshi Mountain, if you want to go to a mountain, therefore got a lot of obstacles. Exhaustion, sometimes it bit in that frustration, but you have to continue walk on the mountain until you reach to the top. And to reach to the top does not mean you have to give up in the middle. You have to continue, persuade, and continue. That will even give you courage. So whatever depression got to go through, kandak hala nafsiya, my brothers and sisters fi Janub Sudan fi istiwaya بالأخص, I want you guys to think about the future bita ahal bita kullu, because your job is not to cry about yourself, pity party, تقول والله أنا كده كده. Ita do something. زي ما قال, fortune favors the bold. يعني I don't know it in Arabic, but it's fortune favors the bold. That means you have to take whatever necessary duty or objective to get to achieve that. Yes, you don't have to be muarras. We don't encourage you on that. You don't have to be coward and giving up, because if giving up is a cowardness. And you don't have to be a brutal person and selfish, where you don't look for your brothers and sisters interest. You have to always think about the better way. Combine yourself, talk to other brothers depressed, جيبهم قولوا أمر تحت عمل اجتماعات قول احنا عارفين وضعنا ما كويس, let's do something. And then find people outside like us and communicate with us. We are open. You can come and talk to us, but we don't want you to take your life, because we want your life is very important, because you don't know what tomorrow can be. اليوم بيجي مطر بكرة بيجي شمس. So remember, time will change. I used to be in the same before. When I was a teenager, I had that kind of depression, where the depression that was a different kind of style. I was a foreigner. I said, why am I a foreigner? Even to the point I was contemplating of suicide. But then I overcame that. It took a while. So those who think about suicide in there, Janub Sudan, Equatorians, remember, you don't do any good when you kill yourself, because your life is important. كان بقيت وصلت للمرحلة ده ما أحسن تشاكل, go to the war. لكن I don't want you even to go to war بس عشان تمشي to fight هناك وتجي تموت هناك. I want you to think of better future. There is always an opportunity. إحنا هنا بنكون معك, and we will and pray, and you want you to pray. أنت مسلم ولا أنت مسيحي, pray, and you will find a solution. For us, إحنا اللي هنا, we ask the people اللي معانا, they listen to us. We want to do something called pledge, and it's going to be a one time, so we can do something, because we want to make a program that is going to be helpful. Right now I cannot even yet announce when it's going to be. Like, once it's going to be announced, we'll bring Sister Hadassah and Sister Asunta and others, our sisters who are around, to come and speak about that, because we want to change this condition of Equatoria. We're going to work hard, and this year is the year of change. I know it's not easy, because I'm telling you, sometimes we face challenges, like in challenges that compared to the objective and the victory we're gonna gain is nothing. حاجة بسيط. فأنا بتمنى من كل الناس capable to stand together. I thank you everyone so much, and God bless you. And please, my brothers and sisters في جنوب Sudan, don't give up. My Equatorian brothers, don't give up. We are fighting for you, and we will get there. If the mountain top there is not easy. Magal, the sweetest thing لما انت قاعد تشوف في صعوبات, they are the best way. لكن لو حاجة easy معناتها حاجة ده شنو؟ جاي يخرب في نهاية. So let's work hard to get there. I thank you guys. God bless you. And we will continue to talk next time. Inshallah, ممكن Tuesday or whatever the day we can be able to come in. حتى لو أنا ما جيت ممكن ناس حداثة بيجي, CJ or Asunta, any one of them, they can open a program and talk about. they نتكلم كمان عن social issues تاعنا. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Really, حاجات دي مؤلم. لكن we will get there. I believe that we will get there. So ربنا يكون معاكم, وشكرا لكم في كل شيء. and تصبحوا على خير. والناس اللي في السودان, good morning. جنوب السودان, good morning. الناس اللي في أستراليا, good evening. And for us in America, good night. We'll see you guys next time. God bless you.
Thank you. ربنا يبارككم.
All right.
Okay,
yeah, I'm gonna put the music and then I'll go. All right, thank you.
JING Records. Oh na 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 na. Oh na 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 na, yeah. Banana kala. Na 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 na. I need a one. I need a sawa. Oh yeah. I need a Equatorian. Nasawa. I need a Equatorian. Beled wahid. I need a Equatorian. Anehna. I need a Equatorian. Oh yeah. Kanita miniambio. Kanita mintori. Weleta min Juba. Yeah. I need a Equatorian. Keresia samagesi malena. Yeah. We strong, we stand together. Yeah. Kanihna gulu wahi. Equatoria birapa. Iyal bilwa pijama. Asan belet na birapa. So give us pen, don't give us guns. Oh yeah. Give us ipanagule. Anina Equatorian. Nasawa. Anina Equatorian. Beled wahid. Anina Equatorian. Anehna. Anina Equatorian. Oh yeah. Kanita zande. Kanita mai. Au kukuye. Anina Equatorian. Kelele na hibonye fusina. Kebilia kede maferiganina. Salam wa sakhafa. Behaja derino. Hasan bele na biraba. Arif ma bisaido. So give us pen, don't give us guns. Give us ipanabule. Anina Equatorian. Nasawa. Anina Equatorian. Beled wahid. Anina Equatorian. Anehna. Anina Equatorian.
Nihna kulu sawa jana. So my pearl fanangala. I love my people and I'm the voice.
Acholi ya buka ya baka.
Greater
Equatoria balanda mare. Kakuwa kinikuku. Lambo lugoya.
Acholi
Kosa mundo. Nyambara morobe mare. Mundare.
Nyambara.
Otumo mare makotudo. Lubara bugaya lobe.
Kosa mundo.
Nare.
Anna kulu nasi sawa. Mavi haja bigesi manena. Siasa ma bigesi manena. Anina wahi.
All right, guys. Good night and a blessed night today. And good morning to you. Rabbana maakum. Bye.